All right, it is 7:18. I'll call this special meeting of the Town of Cromwell Board of Finance to order. And first off, for both sides, thank you very much for the presentation. I know a lot goes into that. I know it's not easy. I know it's a lot of numbers and work and feedback and all that stuff. And I do think it's very helpful for the public. It's obviously very helpful for us to get that overview, and do very much appreciate it. So thank you for putting the time, energy, and effort in. It is appreciated. First item up, we're going to change up our order a little bit tonight, just because we've got the right people in the room. So rather than diving right into the Board of Education operating budget, what I'd like to do is start with the items on the Board of Education capital expenditures tonight. That way we got all parties here. Claudio, good evening. How we doing? Come on up. All right. So I know, and I think for those of us up here, there was a side folder in our packet that kind of contained some commentary here. Yeah, this one here. Okay. If it's all right with you, we'll just go down the order based on this. Okay. So the first couple, I'm probably going to get the motions a little wrong, because we do this in a little bit of a unique way, where we put all the capital items kind of on a separate list so that we have one big vote on it later. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. All right. Like I said, if I flub the first couple, just yell at me and make the change. Okay. So, all the numbers, yeah, these should all match, right? Okay. So again, I'm going to go down the order based upon the commentary on here. So, can I have a motion to put on a list for future consideration, appropriation? The HVAC equipment. Hold on, that doesn't have the right description on it. Hold on, let me get to the right page. I want to make sure. No, it's in here. Yeah, we'll go off of this, because this has got the exact numbers on it too. Can I have a motion to put on a list for future funding? Appropriation. See, I told you. The IAQ assessment in the amount of $41,400.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Waganowski, second by Mr. Blanchett. Okay. Yeah, so I think this order and these should match the same order on the way down. So I just want to go off of this, and Matt, I'll find this page, you can get your book back, to make sure I get the exact dollar amount. So, why don't you go ahead and start with that one?
The state has mandated that all school districts do a specific indoor air quality assessment of 20% of their schools every year. And this doesn't stop. It's a constant rotation. They say you have to do all 100% within 5 years. So that basically means 20% of your schools every year going forward until they change the legislation. We have gone out to bid. We were appropriated $40,000 for a school last year. Woodside was the first school that we did. We've gone out to bid, and that came in at $41,300 and change. So the budget number is very close. And that work for Woodside will be completed by the end of June, as required by the state. By July 1st, has to be completed. So this request is for an additional school next year.
Okay. And do you know which, does it say in here? Oh, CHS. Yep, I see it. Okay. And after they complete the assessment, what kind of report, do we get a report back? Is it just for the state to have information? And is it possible that there may be something down the line we got to fix or do?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes to all three. We have to send the report into the state. The report will be posted, will be shared with the Board of Ed, and it will be posted on the Board of Ed website, showing what they found in the building. Part of the request and part of the RFP is also if they find any part of the HVAC system that needs correction or repairs or replacement, they will provide that information also. So we will have complete information, not only the assessment, what's broken, and what the repairs would cost.
And you said this has been something that's been in place for a number of years?
No, this is
No,
the
this
first
is
year.
new. Oh, this past year is the first year of it?
Yes,
Okay. Was it something that kind of came out of COVID? Is that
I think so,
maybe something?
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
There was a lot of concern during COVID.
Right.
whether, You know, schools with window
Well,
air conditioner, or change of air.
I think we made some
One-
investments in
one of the-
upgrading the, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, because my question was gonna be like, previous schools, what the results are, but if this is the first year of doing it, then,
Yes, this is first year,
yeah, okay. So we expect this then to just be a constant,
every year, sir.
yeah, okay. We'll start this side. Mr. Fidelli? Mr. Maley?
Just trying to make sure the number
Is your mic on? I'm sorry.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, guys, make sure we get our mics on tonight.
Yep. Is the number 41.4 or 40 flat?
I'm going based off of the page in the book for 41,400.
It's in the. That's what I'm, yeah.
Yeah, the commentary here shows a 40,000 estimate. That's why I wanted to go to this page here.
I thought we were doing this.
It's the same one in this book here, same thing. I think John's just going off.
Oh, it's in the town book?
Yeah,
It's in the
Yes.
town book, so obviously,
Just so it's
Okay.
not-
Hang on a moment.
I mean, that 41.4 is on there too, Mr. Mealy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
I think it's the
Yeah.
right number. I just wanna
Yep.
make sure we're all following the same thing. So this is in the CNR of the town.
Yeah, so if you go under the CNR tab and then 4 pages in. And I know the very top there says 25-26. Obviously, that's 26-27.
I'm sorry, is it after the town stuff or
It's just a couple, into the CNR tab, Ed,
it is?
it's just a couple pages after that.
Right here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I'm sorry, did you have were you just looking for an exact number or did you have a question?
It is 41.4 here,
Yes.
so that's my question.
Okay. Mr. Vice Chair?
yeah, so, thanks for being here tonight. Just one question, I may have missed this in your conversation. So this is for Cromwell High School,
Yes, sir.
this evaluation. What about the other schools? How, they're on a cycle, it's on a schedule, so next year will be ECS perhaps, and the school, after that would be WIS, and
Yes, sir.
how often do they do it? How many years between?
The requirement is 20% of the district schools per year. Since we only have 4 schools, we'll have 1 year that we can skip, and then it starts all
Then it'll
over.
start again, okay, that's it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Claudio, and CMS would eventually be on there, but with the year skip, we probably won't do CMS for 4 or 5 or 6 years or so, or you think, or,
We'll do that last.
yeah.
Out of all the schools, it'll be last, since it's the newest building, and it's supposedly been calibrated correctly.
Sure.
And this is to make sure that it's working. It'll give it a good 3 years working, and then see if anything has started to come off, and give us a chance to correct it again.
Looking forward to the results. I think it's exciting to kind of maybe get something out of this and we can learn from it, so it's great.
It's a more detailed, obviously, than the Gordian report.
One more time around real quick. Any other further questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hands. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to put on a list for a future appropriation, $35,985 to replace the water heater at Cromwell High School?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. Go ahead.
The request is to replace the failing water heater at the high school. The water heater has been diagnosed with a hot spot. You can actually, if you look at it, we have a photo, you can look at it, it's already turning brown on the outside, where the insulation is failing, and the concern is that it can fail at any time. The request is to replace it.
How old is it?
How old is it? I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. And you said you've obtained a quote from Tucker Mechanical,
Yes.
so that matches that figure. Gotcha. Okay. We'll start this way this time. Mr. Blanchett?
No questions.
Mr. Roganowski?
No questions.
Vice Chair? Mr. Maley? Okay, seeing no further questions, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to put on a future list for an appropriation of $50,000 even to upgrade the telephone system? Is this at all the schools?
One school.
Wiss, I think.
At WIS?
The request originally was,
For all of them?
yes,
Replace system to Mitel at WIS, CHS, and ECS. Am I reading that right? Oh, received.
yes.
Okay, so this is for, so which school is this for?
Well, the original request was for all three schools,
Right, which one is the 50 grand for?
Woodside.
Woodside, okay. It is for WIS, okay, I'm sorry. Because it's still showing all three.
It's highlighted, the only place is highlighted in red.
Oh, it's on a different sheet, yeah, of course. Okay, for Woodside Intermediate School.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Wagonowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. All right, walk us through what the system's doing and how we came on WIS for this.
I'll try to share, but we also have Stephen Van Hoven here, who's our IT manager, and he can fill in and respond to any questions. The current system that we have at all three other schools other than the middle school and what was in the old middle school has and is becoming obsolete. We've been notified that within 5 years, they will not be providing any parts at all for those systems. The new school, knowing that the existing system was gonna become obsolete, was a new system put in, and it's the Mitel system. Now, there's a difference in how they talk to each other. Steve, can you explain that part? Or, Steve, why don't you come up and explain better than I can?
Come on up, just give your name and role, please.
Sure. His name is Stephen Van Bachhoven. I'm the manager of IT for Cromwell Public Schools.
All right, so, yeah, just walk us through what's going on and the need here.
Yes, the interoperability between the old phone system, the NEC system, and the Mitel at the new building, to provide a better cohesive system. As Claudio already explained also that the system is at end of life. NEC has left the market for the physical system, so we're on essentially borrowed time at this point. The new middle school was installed with a Mitel system because the state, at the recommended of the architects, said we don't recommend you getting in NEC or bringing over your old system. Therefore, we installed a new Mitel system. It's hard to operate the district when we have two different systems and manage them two different ways, and they're not completely talking to each other in an ideal fashion. And it's harder to get phones for the old system. I keep looking on Amazon, and there are less and less quantities available, so eventually I will not be able to get replacement phones for when they fail.
So, obviously, this is from a communication standpoint. I mean, from a safety standpoint and that kind of thing, what's, I mean, is it just time and response? Is it making sure that the two sides of the phone connect here, or?
Yeah, well, from a safety standpoint, like, you can still call 911 and it will still
Sure.
reach out and dispatch to the appropriate school. But as far as long-term support is kind of the issue that we're looking at and dealing with.
Okay. I'm not quite sure who this question goes to, but do we have any idea? I mean, the original amount was 180,284 for 3 schools, right? Then the town council got to 50. Just any idea just how that number came to be? Is that an estimate based on a quote for the one school?
Yeah, the schools are on varying in size and quantity of phones and equipment needed. So the high school is the largest. And that estimate for just that school alone is around 72,000, if I remember correctly. And the other ECS and WISP were around, I think Woodside is 51, and I forget the remainder would have been for ECS.
And when were these numbers obtained?
Off the top, I don't, around the time,
That first, no, 180 was obtained about 5 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we started the conversation regarding the CNR. As far as the individual numbers, Woodside was recent. Once we determined at the town council meeting that all three weren't gonna be funded, and the recommendation was to do Woodside. And then we went out and got an updated quote, and that's where you had the number.
Okay, so you have a physical quote showing it at the 50.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
The town council's, opinion was at this time regarding this item was to, phase them, in as far as the repairs, the changeover. So their thought was do, Woodside now and, this year, and another school next year possibly, and use the Woodside phones, for spare parts.
Yeah.
Should they be needed in the other schools until all the schools are on the same system.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Sorry with you this time. Mr. Fidelli?
Are these are acquisitions, or are these done through a lease?
acquisition.
Thank you. That's it.
If I could just take a couple of minutes to go through, you know, we have, in the last few years, made a lot of changes on how we do capitals, particularly with regard to the Board of Ed, for a variety of reasons. So I just want to clarify what we got on the page here. So we have 180,000 for this project, which was recommended by the Education Administration or the Board of Education? Who, I don't know who this question's for.
So
but
we, Claudio works with his team
Right.
and puts this together, and then we bring it to the Board of Education. The Board of Education votes on it, and they approved, I believe it was 1 through 18,
Okay.
to move forward, and then, Tony meets with Tony. I'm sorry, Claudio meets with Tony, town manager,
Right.
Salvatore, and they go through each item,
Okay.
and then it goes to the common council,
Okay.
and then it comes to you.
So, just so I have this correct, the Education Administration to the Board of Education. If the Board of Education approves, and I assume that's the number we see here, then there's an administrative discussion. The town manager makes a recommendation, or in this case, not. And then we are showing a priority. That priority comes from whom? That's your priority, or the,
And then Mr. Salvatore has the opportunity, before presenting to town council, to change their priority if he deems it so.
right, but I mean, the priority we're seeing on this list
Comes from
is
us.
generated by you.
Through a discussion, yes.
All right, and then the priority having been established by you guys, it then goes to the town council, who chooses to do what they wish. And in this case, they came up with this halfway measure. Okay, I think that's all I need to know. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So it's clear on the end of life issue that you have, and it sounds like, based upon the decisions that were made, phasing it in and then utilizing the technology we currently have is a plan that could work, right? So getting it in 3 years, not optimal, but workable. What I don't understand is the communication piece of this. Like, what are you missing? Because you have one system that's on one school, and you have a different system that's gonna be in 3 other schools, but now 2 other schools. So you'll be halfway into,
So I'll give you one example that's highly frustrating to me as the superintendent. I answer my own calls. Lisa Hicks does take them if I miss them if I'm in a meeting, which is my administrative assistant. However, I can no longer, if you're calling me, I have no idea who's calling me.
Okay.
So if I'm in a meeting and I get up to look at my phone and Mrs. Hicks isn't in the office, I look at it and I say, okay, it's maybe a parent, which is fine, and I will let a parent leave a message. If I see that it's a principal, I automatically think something's going on,
Right.
right? I can't tell the difference. So to me, it's highly frustrating.
Because you're on the new
'Cause
system right now.
I'm on the new system, and it doesn't speak to anything else. So that's just one example of
Okay.
many.
Gotcha.
Like, calls from any of the other three buildings will not.
Right, so you had
So
identification.
you're-
If you were all in the same system, you would have internal identification
Right, correct.
of who is contacting you, where you missed that part because you're on two
One,
different
one other
systems.
piece too, if a call comes into the central office, and I'm located at the high school, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
and the caller is looking for the technology department. Now, normally, if all they would be able to transfer me to my extension at the high school, that will not work, because they called the central office at the middle school, they'd have to hang up, call the high school's number, and then get my extension that way.
Got it.
So it's a little bit harder to transfer calls to the right,
Got it.
to
So
people.
identification, transfer, and moving calls. Okay, thanks.
Is there, when we looked at the pricing for the 180 or talked about that, was that like an indication of all that? If you're doing that kind of volume, you get a better price versus us doing this piecemeal? And did they say anything about that? Like, so if we do this in the end, if we do it separately over 3 or 4 years, I know inflation might hit it, but roughly it's still the same numbers. It's not
Correct.
much advantage
When
to.
he broke it out piecemeal, school by school, it was roughly the same cost, minus a little bit of inflation because of the time that had passed. He said they had a price change of some sort that raised it a little bit, but not significantly.
I thought I heard you say, and it's not much of a number, but I thought WIS would be 51,000.
Yeah, I have, does that reflect the quote on here? Sorry, I'm mistaken. It was, this was obtained just a few days ago. It's 55.2 is the actual official quote as of recently.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's 55.2 to do the school we're considering,
Yeah, the Woodside School.
and we're only at 50. So,
All the schools were over 50, just to be clear. I mean,
Okay.
even when, in the original 180,
no, I got you. Listen, from my standpoint, it's one of those things where if we're going to do it, we got to do it right. So, depending on how this goes, we may just want to revisit what we've put out there. I just got one other quick question. It's probably going to show that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll throw it out there anyway. You mentioned about certain instances where certain people you need to know are calling you, and that you can tell right away. My assumption is that if you only change out one phone or one bit in a school that's got all one system, that's not feasible. So as an example, like you can't take the principal's office in one of the schools and put it on MyTel and then. Okay,
No.
again, I'm just,
Trust me, Chairman Ireland, I asked. These are connected to me, my phones are connected to me
Yep.
at all times. This just makes it a better reason of why they have to be fully charged and right there. Because I know if
Yep.
a call comes through, my administrators know, don't wait for, just call my cell phone. And it's always been like that, but if it's an emergency, we all know that this system is not, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. So we have a solution, temporary solution.
I don't have any questions, I guess, for this, but in terms of discussion on this, should we wait until we vote on the whole?
yeah, let's get all the
caboodle?
questions out, and then you can, if you've
Okay.
got something you want to discuss, we can
All right,
do it that way.
I don't have any
Let
questions.
me go around, again, any questions? Okay, then discussion, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just an observation, I think sometimes it makes sense to leg into things, do things in phases. Just, there's some things in here that we're already gonna be doing in phases, some things that did not get approved that will need to take phases. To me, this seems like one that just says, hey, if we know we're gonna incur this expense, there's no reason to think next year we're gonna have some kind of magic window where like, oh, expenses are down, let's slide it in. So this does just seem to seem like, hey, if we're gonna incur it, then just do it all once. It'll save them some transition time where 1/4 of the schools has it, half the schools have it, 3/4 have it. It's just like, just get to the end state would just be my opinion on the matter.
Let me just ask, let's, and I'm not saying to go down this path, but let's say hypothetically we went back to the original number. Could all 3 schools get done in the span of a year?
Yeah, our hope was to get it all done in the summer. Which
Oh, in the summer.
Yeah, well, assuming everything went to plan, yeah, that this project would be, whether 1 school or 3, I was assured by the project, team that I talked with in obtaining the quote, could be done.
Yeah, my point obviously was that if we allocated, but it wasn't gonna get done for 18 months, then.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was all.
And I also think that, we do one and then, next year we get the quote and yeah, there's inflation or it's like, oh, we were just there last summer and now we go back there again. I mean,
Well,
whether it's in there or not, but
let me ask you from this standpoint, you talk about using the previous, or the current system for parts. I mean, do you have any idea if the stuff you take out of the one school is gonna fix the phones in the other schools and keep those going for an extra
I mean, yes, when the old middle school before it was torn down, we had emptied the school of all phones. We had to bring over the PBX, the box, for the old system, because it had to be installed at the new system for the other 3 schools to use it, because the middle school is the hub of communications for the district. So it has both the new Mitel system and the old piece, because of the way the communications flow from the other building to the middle school. It would be nice to get at least another PBX box from one of their schools, so I do have one on hand, and it would, help prevent any kind of outage.
Good.
So if we did do this all at once and we took all the old equipment out, as you mentioned, it's hard to get replacement parts. Do you think it's possible to sell that to a broker or another vendor that might be able to then turn it around on the market? Like maybe we could get some money to offset some of this back if their parts are hard to find.
It's possible. I haven't asked that question, but I
It
can
might
certainly
be,
reach out.
yeah, it
to
might be worth
vendors.
finding out what the value is of the workable parts that we know work and see if,
I know a lot of the phones have been used heavily over the years, so.
sure, yeah. but
Well, how old is the current
someone's out
system?
there.
It predates me. I think Tommy was the one that originally purchased it probably in 2009. It was one of the early projects he did, but I think it was around 2009, if I had to guess, 2009 or 10. But
and can I just ask one?
Yeah,
more?
go ahead.
And then, always thinking about ECS and being sensitive to ECS, not know how long, we're gonna maybe need to redo that. But if we put these new phones in ECS, there'd be the ability to store them. It's not like,
we would
that-
certainly migrate this system
Okay.
out of there.
Yeah, if that were to come down, these should be transferable, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's gonna suddenly become obsolete
Absolutely.
with a new school. Further discussion, I mean, I personally, for me, I think we gotta make an amendment to the number one way or the other, to at least get it to the quote that they obtained for the one school. But Mr. Blanchett, if you're set and you wanna make a motion to an amendment for the full amount, by all means.
sure, yeah, and then at the end, when we look at the totality of everything we're doing, we could then further
So, yeah, so let me.
adjust. I
Yeah,
just
so
wanna
we can make
sure.
this clear. So what we're doing now is basically going through, putting an initial motion and figure for each one of these items. Then, in theory, on Tuesday, when we're wrapping up, and don't need a third one, we then revisit, come back, and set on a final CNR number where an adjustment can be made again if it turns out that we go through things, and just like you did now,
Yeah.
it turns out there's something on here that we also gotta put as a priority or change or add on. So, this is not necessarily setting it in stone, it's just kind of putting our
Staging
mark
it.
in the
We're
cement.
staging it, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, well, then for now, I'll make a motion to
make an amendment.
amend, amend the motion, from 50,000 to, 180. Is it still then the number that was originally submitted, or now there's an
No,
updated
because
quote?
I think each school would be a little bit more, just like Woodside came in. I'd have to look at the original documentation. Do you have the original? The original one, so,
Oh, the
Woodside-
updated quote that you just got a few days ago.
right, the updated quote, so Woodside, when it was originally the original for the 3 schools was 180, 283, 88. And, Woodside was 51,409 of that 180, 283. But now it's come in at 55,205,
And that new one is WIS only?
WIS only.
It's come up 10%.
Because it was asked to just do WIS only, or it's just because it was an outdated quote?
It's an outdated quote. So this quote was March 30th. Since that last quote that we got, that's how much of an
I
inflation.
think they did it before that, I think it was.
So, when was the last quote before March 30th? Like months ago, right? 5 months ago?
November.
Okay.
And just for clarity's sake, the 180,284, that was something that was passed by the Board of Education. That was their recommendation. Gotcha.
Well, maybe for
sorry.
now, no,
No,
it's okay.
just, you gotta, you finish, go ahead and finish.
Well, my
your motion,
amendment
or-
might be, maybe if we just amend it to 55, that's a hard number we have, and then between now and Tuesday, if you were to go back and ask for the other 2 schools, we can have that information, if that's
That is certainly an option.
acceptable, okay? Then, to continue the amended motion, it would be to amend it for 55,000, based on the
What was
most
the,
recent
what was the
55.
one figure, 55 what? 200?
55,205.84.
And not a penny more.
Why don't you round it to 06, that way, you know, it gives us a 14-cent cushion.
55,206?
Yes, 55,206.
All right, so there, Mr. Melchette's made a motion for an amendment, is there a second?
Second?
Discussion on the amendment.
So I guess, sorry.
So then we just got quotes for all 3 schools, March 30th? Or I'm just gonna, okay, just the one.
Just WIS because
So you guys have to go back then and, got it. Okay, now I'm with it. Thank you.
You feel confident they can turn something around for you in the next 2 days?
tomorrow's Good Friday, Monday, Tuesday, your meeting Tuesday.
Tuesday night? All right, yeah, give it a try. We'll revisit it on Tuesday. Assuming the amendment is what it is. Further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, signal by raising your hand. Motion carries. Now we're back to the original motion with the new figure. Further discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signal by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. All right, can I have a motion then to put on a future list for an appropriation, the CCTV renewal at ECS Phase 1 in the amount of $62,100?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. All right, I'm assuming that these are all gonna kind of fall in the same bucket, so you wanna just talk about what the system's doing in general across all the schools and the age and all that stuff that's going on?
Sure. The cameras are failing. Some of them, you can't even see, yeah, the cameras are blurred. You can't even see the faces of people, especially the exterior cameras, some interior cameras. This is across the entire district. As you can see, the Gordian, to do each school incomplete, ECS is 328,000, high school is 685,000, and WIS is 372,000. We're recommending that instead of replacing them all, to do it in phases, so we can take care of the worst ones first. They don't all help. Gordon recommends do them all, but we think we can get by with replacing many of the ones that are not viewable anymore.
That are difficult to see. And we just have to be careful when we talk about safety and security. So there are some cameras that are blurry and we want to make them less blurry. Okay, thank you.
Well, that was it. Again, I don't want to get into an area. Doing this, you know, never mind. I don't want to go down that path. Mr. Blanchett.
Just not any concerns about a compatibility thing here, I guess, right? Like, so it's kind of swap one lens for another, or not one camera device for another.
Span away.
the goal is, to match the same mic and model as,
Oh, okay.
middle schools.
So it's not like an end-of-life thing with the
No.
telephones, it's
Um,
maybe a little updated year, but it's compatible.
yeah, they're all
Sure.
power over Ethernet,
Okay.
you know, high resolution, it's 4K, no, I don't know about 4K, but they're high definition cameras.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, were any of them saved from the old middle school, or were those all just all done?
Yes, we did save.
Oh, did you really?
7 of the best interior ones. Had we had enough manpower, maybe we could have gotten some of the exterior ones too, but they proved pretty difficult.
They were ripping the
Leave
building
it down.
the day we got out.
If you can't answer, don't answer, it's okay. How many phases do we think? I know it says phase one for a couple of days, like, is this a 2-year thing, something else, or?
I think it's gonna become more a reevaluation of what conditions they are, before we decide to come back for an additional phase. It's not a phase 1 of 4, or phase 1 of 5, or where we're coming back every single year. We wanna make sure we correct the ones that need correction, and then we'll assess year by year.
And is this something that we can, by we, not me, but, good, but we gonna do this our own? We have to pay for the labor, we just buy in the cameras we install, or how's that?
We're buying the cameras and the labor, but it's under state contract pricing.
So these are individual cameras that you're gonna replace depending upon where they're positioned and what kind of quality of video you're receiving. There's not a central hub anywhere that these cameras all play into, and is that,
They all tie to a server at each school, but the server is the software we have licensing for, and it gets updated periodically.
okay, so
That's-
there's no
so-
issues there?
So the infrastructure piece is pretty sound.
Okay.
The wires are already run, it's using the same Ethernet cable that for the most part, for the existing camera. However, there is one school that is different, and that is Woodside. Oh, sorry.
It's okay,
It's just that they have,
but they're still very good cameras, but we
Yes.
still need some replaced.
yes,
Okay, all right, thanks.
sorry,
No, it's okay.
I'm not,
It's really hard.
it is.
I'm gonna ask the fourth version of the same question. So what we're really saying here is, the system works fine, but the head units in some places are out. So it is a more sophisticated version of, we're going around and replacing light bulbs. It's like, this one works, this one doesn't, so this one swapped out the other. The system itself works fine, but there's, the endpoint sometimes fails, and we need to fix it.
It's like your cable TV, we get HDL and then something else comes out that's better, but in this situation, we skipped, quite a few years over getting
Yeah.
a new TV.
Right, okay, just wanted to make sure. Yep, thank you.
Sure.
So for the numbers on here, are these based on actual quotes, or are these still based off of the Gordian study?
Those are still based off the Gordian study. I've been trying to get a finalized quote, but the rep has been, PTO leave, so I have not gotten that.
The original numbers, when we're talking about the hundreds of thousands, those are Gordian numbers. But since we're not doing the infrastructure, we're just doing the head-end cameras, we're requesting dollar amount that we feel is appropriate so we can catch up on these cameras.
But we don't know, these aren't even inflation adjusted over 3 years, 'cause that study's 4 years old now?
Excuse me?
There's automatically a 3.5%. Am I correct every
Like,
year?
so the 62,100
Includes a 3.5% increase
over for 3 or 4 years, however, when that study came
over,
out.
per year.
Okay, so it's close, we think it's close.
Well, I think,
Okay.
sorry to correct, but I just wanted, oh, yeah, go ahead.
My second question isn't financial related, but
I was only gonna ask to follow up to the column, because I noticed it said spring 25 is the most recent Gordian, because I think Gordian did their study, and then as part of the package did they have something that,
Every year it updates 3.5%.
Oh, okay.
okay, that's, I wanted to make sure, yeah, okay.
Okay.
and just, my other point was, just to go back to what we said before, these numbers are, I'm gonna pick a number, 10 cameras per school. So if the number turns out to be a little wrong, it's 9 cameras per school, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Second question is, once, however many cameras get replaced, like, does that cause additional, do we need additional server storage space, because we're now recording more cameras in HD, or, like, is there other back-end, upgrades that we need to make to support this system?
I don't believe so, because the new middle school has adequate storage. It's similar to existing storage. I don't want to say too much. Well, yeah.
One more time around. Any further questions before we get to discussion? All right, discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed? No, we're just doing one at a time. I'm assuming the next two will hopefully fly, because hopefully the same answers. But did the motion, everyone, yes? Okay, sorry, motion carries. Can I have a motion to put on a list for a future appropriation, in the amount of $51,750 for CCTV renewal at the Cromwell High School?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Reganowski, second by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Could I have a motion to put on a list for a future appropriation in the amount of $41,400 for the CCTV renewal at Woodside Intermediate School?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Waganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Could I have a motion to put on a future list for an appropriation in the amount of $103,500 for HVAC design work at Cromwell High School?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Reganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. So if I'm reading this right, this is actually an investment to hopefully help us out with something down the line. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Following the Gordon report, the recommendation is over the next 3 to 4 years to basically replace the entire system, HVA system, over at the high school. Now, to do this correctly, you'd want to do it all at once, not in pieces, because this equipment has to speak to each other. It's a very complicated system. You can't just replace one piece here. If one piece breaks down, it's one thing, but you can't do wholesale replacement. The other thing is that the state of Connecticut now provides an HVAC grant equal to what the town reimbursement rate is, which is about 50%. It varies 0.5% or so a year. I think the middle school was around 49%. So, to do that correctly, we would need to have an engineering firm come in here, assess the system that's there, come up with a system ready for an RFP to go out to bid so we can determine the cost, and then using all that information, we can apply for an HVAC school construction grant for 50% reimbursement.
So just for us doing this doesn't necessarily lock us into needing a new system. This is just gonna give us detail and information, and then we can make a call and if we want to apply for it or not.
Yes, sir.
Where did I start last time? Did I start with
Me,
you?
I think, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Vice Chair? Good. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Can I have a motion to put on a future list, $21,993 for ECS classroom blinds, part 3 of 4?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Waganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. Just continuing along.
You're number 3.
Number 3.
We're moving along the building.
Work with the first 2 phases, gone as expected, no hiccups.
No issues.
Okay. We're noticing the blinds doing anything from a energy standpoint, window stand, I don't know, just something.
It's hard to tell at ECS. It doesn't really have an energy management system.
Yeah. Okay.
We just hope it stays there.
Got it.
But it's definitely appreciated by the staff.
Mr. Manchette? Good?
Comment on these blinds for the 3rd year in a row.
They're very important.
Good man. Mr. Wagonhouse, Mr. Vice Chair? Mr. Maley?
No.
Mr. Fidelli?
So, we're, the cost listed on this page here in the book is 21,933, but we're saying the Gordian cost plus 3.5% is 22,763.
So, John, so actually, so
We
James, so,
actually have a quote for 21,993, so we're ready to go as soon as
Okay.
the funding becomes available.
I'm just struggling to understand how we're flip-flopping between costs and Gordian, like approved 3.5%.
I'm going off of whatever the town council had recommended. Now, anyone is welcome to make an amendment
Yeah,
to
yeah,
a number if they think the town council was incorrect or they have a different feeling, just like we did earlier. So I'm just going off of this to start, and then you guys are obviously welcome to make a change if necessary.
In
Mr. Maley?
The write-up will indicate where they actually have a quote as opposed to, that's what I've been looking at.
Yeah, right, yeah, so.
But just to be clear, I mean, if you think, I would hope you would tell us if we were about to appropriate something that is useless to you, because you can't do it. So, can I assume that we have not done that yet?
No, sir.
Okay. So, thank you.
Mr. Fidelli, you good?
Good, yep.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Last one. Can I have a motion to put on a future list for an appropriation in the amount of $58,276 for a domestic water storage tank, 500 gallons, going into the high school?
so moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Wagonowski, seconded by the vice chair.
Can I ask a question that's slightly, very slightly off topic?
Well, can you just intro it first? Maybe it answers your question somehow, and then we'll. Is that all right?
Yeah, kind
Let
of,
him.
but
Let's get the little background first, and
Okay.
then we'll get to you. Go ahead, Claudia.
This item was recommended by Gordian. It is a domestic hot water, and it's a 500-gallon galvanized steel storage tank. It's located in a mechanical room. The estimate is $56,305.
That's it? Okay. Mr. Maley, go ahead.
So, my question is about the list as a whole. So, the priorities here, we went down through all the number ones and stopped. Then there were a couple that were number twos, oddly, and then we went back to ones that were number one. And the two that, one of which was not approved by the town council or the town manager, was the fire suppression system, which I don't know enough about this to be sure, but that always seems to be number one on my list.
I can answer that.
What's going on, what happened here?
That recommendation was by the Gordian report. We've recently had a company come out and re-inspect that system and provide us information. And their recommendation at this point is we've done a very good job of maintaining, even though it's past its life expectancy, we've done a really good job of maintaining. The next time that the Ansel system will need to be recharged would be 2029, and they can provide us an update at that time.
No safety issue.
No, sir.
Well, to piggyback off that, it's listed as, you mentioned before, one priority. Was that a one before they came out?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
before that.
if you, you create the priority number?
Yes.
Right, it's not the Board of Ed. So if you were to redo it, you make it a two?
With the information I have, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, is that,
Thank you.
yep. Okay, questions going around this way then for the storage tank? Mr. Fidelli, Mr. Maley,
No.
Mr. Vice Chair?
So is this a replacement of a tank that currently sits there, or is this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
It's not to put a brand new one out of nowhere. It's to
Yeah.
replace an existing one.
Okay, thank you, I'm good.
Hey, Claudia, do you happen to know the age of this one?
No, sir, but if I have to guess, it's probably around 2000.
Sure. Have there been any issues in the school with water? Like, have you starting to have problems, like it's not keeping up with demand
No,
or
it's
anything?
just
or-
the existing,
It's just time?
existing water tank is past
Sure.
its life.
Okay, thank you.
No, well, I just was curious, because the CHS had the failing water heater, but that's related to HVAC unit? I guess that's just for like,
Where you reading?
Water heater is one thing, HVAC is another, and water storage tank is another.
yeah, no, it was item number 2 in this grid,
Yeah.
and that was the failing water heater. You mentioned seeing, issues, right? Like that was failing, so to
Yes.
replace it. This one, it just sounds more like a proactive, hey, it's at the end of useful life.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I guess based upon, maybe to piggyback off where you're going, you made it a priority 1. There's nothing necessarily there that you're seeing that's an issue. You made it a priority 1 just because of the age.
I made it a 1 more because what it's connected to. The recommendation is quarterly reported, it's solid, it's useful life. My concern is if it does fail and what it impacts, more so than anything else.
Okay.
It's one of those things, if it fails, it's tied into the fire system. It's not a piece, I wanna say, well, somebody said to change it. We can give it another year. That's not one of these pieces that I wanna do that with.
Got it. Does that
Yeah, yeah.
help?
No, yeah, I'm just trying to create awareness for.
Yeah, no,
what things are.
listen, I'm gonna flush this out. Was wondering if that was gonna, anyway. Hey, hey, let's, one more time around, anybody? Good? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Before we dive back into the Board of Ed operating budget, obviously there are items on here that did not pass town council. Are there any items on here that we need to look at and review tonight as a board, or are we good?
Just random asking.
Listen, we have the ability to make changes to this. If there is something on here that someone wants to ask a question about, or what, I just wanna make sure I don't just shut this down and assume something. So,
Yep.
that's all.
So Claudia, maybe the first one that didn't get approved, the ECS AC units. Obviously, we want to make sure those are working and properly, doing what they need to do for that school. Do you have a feeling that some of these are really just sort of any moment going to potentially fail? We get a hot September and we're going to be running around like crazy, or is it?
Most of them are between, if you've ever had a window air conditioning unit, most of these are between 8 to 10 years. We were able to salvage probably about 4 or 5 of really good ones out of the CMS building, but these all need to be replaced. Then 23,000 doesn't cover all of them. They're about $2,000 a piece. They're special insert AC. It's not like I can go to Home Depot and wait for their sale and buy a bunch. These are specific to the room size and the type. There are 2 items on here that I will speak for that wasn't approved by the town council. One is the air conditioning at ECS. The second is the lighting in the gym over at WIS. We were appropriated funding to convert the lights over at WIS last year, and the work is ongoing. It's already started to LEDs. The funding wouldn't cover the gym. Part of the funding for the WIS lighting retrofit to LEDs was the emergency lights. Gordian had given us a number of $97,000 for the emergency lights because it included the infrastructure and wiring. Based on the contractor, we don't need to replace the wiring. The only thing that needed replacing was the head, similar to we're talking about the cameras. Well, the head end came out to $17,000 instead of $97,000. That left us with $80,000 towards that project that we have left over from the 2026 appropriation. And I had requested that $80,000, if we would be able to do the WIS gym lighting and the ECS window air conditioning units, which came in under $80,000. So basically a reappropriation of the $80,000 is gonna be left over from that one project. And that did not move out of town council.
So the council took it up to,
My understanding was at the time is that the mayor tabled it further discussion. But you're the Board of Finance, so I'm making that request from you, even though you don't have it in front of you. As an option, because we're gonna have 80,000 left over from that project. So rather than spend it next year, reallocate it for these two projects, and I'll get them done before the summer is over.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
They're already working in with the LEDs, it's just finishing it up this summer.
and Claudio, if I have it right, those, that discussion happened at the Board of Ed Facilities meeting, like March something, I don't know when it was, back a while ago, right? Now, they said, okay, to do
The
what you.
Board of Ed approved all 18
Yeah,
projects.
yeah, no, the 80,000 surplus, CNR, I think there was a Board of Ed Facilities Committee meeting. I think you presented that there.
Yes.
I know Jason and I just attended, we had no
Yes.
say in it, we were just visitors,
I remember.
right? But I think you got the approval there. I think the next step is just to get it back on town council's agenda. And I think they'll go, sure, go do it, and then it'll come in front of the Board of Finance meeting in April, if we have one, and it'll hopefully, have a discussion there. So I think those can happen sooner than you realize. It doesn't have to be part of this request for this funding.
Okay, I've already made that request at the town council.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, this is a special meeting, that's not on this list. So I'm not sure you can take that up.
Well, I'm talking about projects that we can put in for the next fiscal year.
Okay, he came up with the surplus, he was informed that, he has to go back and start the process.
Mhm.
That's where he is right now.
Okay.
He's before the town council is considering the request, at the next, council meeting next Wednesday, and then it goes on to you, at your next
Sure.
Board of Finance meeting.
Sure. I'm not trying to suggest we pass something tonight for this current fiscal year, but, I mean, it's happened before where if there's something on here to consider and put on for the next fiscal year, we certainly can, unless I'm missing something.
No, I think the only thing is that, and you're totally right, Tony, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think, and Claudia, help me here, right? One or two of these items is exactly the thing that we're just talking about going through town council next Wednesday. I just don't wanna approve it for FY '27,
Yeah, no, I
but it's
agree.
gonna
I
get
wouldn't do
approved
it-
somewhere else,
right,
right? It's
I'm
like
not gonna
that's
do
a
it. I
double
wouldn't do
approval.
it.
I just met with John, but if one of these, and Claudia, help me, right, if one of these is one of the ones you wanna use a surplus for this year, we don't wanna approve it here, and then
Right.
approve it again in the
I
town
100%
council,
agree.
it's like a double approval, so
Yeah.
we'd wanna do that.
Yes,
Can
sir.
I get a
And I
little?
was just sharing for informational purposes. I wasn't expecting for you to say, yes, we'll take care of it. I know this is not the process.
Can I just get a clarification here? The 80,000 that we're talking about from a project that was, and this is a question, even though I'm gonna say, a project that we put on this list from last year
Was approved.
was approved last year for this fiscal year as a capital project.
Correct.
But you're going to underspend it.
Correct.
Okay, now we're into the new world of how we appropriate these things. So that is in this category, which is something that we appropriate to the town, right? This is actually a town expenditure. So it will be coming back on June 30th, or whenever we close the books, to
No,
the,
it can come back now. He's done with his project.
so you can close
She
it
can-
out before
she
the
can
end of the
close it
year?
out,
Okay.
Send it back to the CNR fund.
Okay, so it is available immediately, essentially. And, so the idea, the concept, is that the town council may come back to these two projects next month, next week, whatever.
We need number one, we need in writing that his
Yeah.
projects are complete.
Right.
He has a surplus and send it to finance
Right.
to close the project out.
Right. But then that would initiate a request for us to use money from what will then be this year's CNR fund.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's complicated, but okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, the funding, the CNR funding is good for 2 years.
Three.
So the 3 years. So,
But not, he's a little hung up. He completed the project that he got the money for. That money now has to go back to CNR fund.
I just so that we're speaking the same thing, it's not completed yet, it's in the works, but the quote for that one piece came in at 17,000, and we had 97,000 appropriated for it.
Right.
So you can send a letter to finance, releasing whatever you don't need. It goes back into the capital non-reoccurring fund balance. Then you can make your request again before the town council. It goes through the town manager's office. If it's approved, it goes on to it's on the agenda, then it goes to the Board of Finance if the town council approves it.
How is that different than the request I made to the town council a couple weeks ago?
It's not, it's on their agenda table. Once they approve it, it will go to the Board of Finance.
Do they need anything else from us regarding this?
We need a release of
Yep,
whatever
got that.
extra funds that are not being used for the projects.
Yep.
To be released back to the finance department,
Yep.
so that it goes back to the capital non-reoccurring
Yep.
fund balance. The council then can take it up, the council can approve it. If the council approves it, then it goes to the Board of Finance.
Okay.
Just asking one procedural question. So as you just said, Tony, the project is, we think, paid for because we got the quote, we have, I assume, signed a contract.
Yes, sir.
Do we, as a financial matter, do we normally close out a project before the project is actually finished?
No.
No, we do not.
No.
Okay. But we're gonna do that this time?
If that's what they want, if they wanna close their project out and limit what they have for funds available, if the bill comes in higher, then they'll have to make it up through operational.
I was gonna say, what happens if the number, there's a change order or something?
Correct.
That's always possible.
Yeah,
I just think it's a very small risk since the actual cost now is 17,000.
yeah,
I'm not
but it-
expecting it to be 17 to 50,000, it might be 17, if there's something.
right. But the question is, if,
We would cover.
And the money being left to still be less than,
He could actually leave himself a cushion.
I do have a cushion.
And release.
I do have a
yes,
cushion.
And release the funding that he feels he doesn't need, and that can be considered by the town council and again onto you.
All right, I think we're,
but that's, just to be clear, that's not our normal procedure.
No.
okay. I think we're in a good spot here with the CNR projects. If we're good to move back into the operational for the Board of Ed? Yes? All right. Claudio, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Much appreciated.
All right.
I learn something new every time I come here.
Trust me, I'm still learning.
I meant that as a
Okay.
compliment, don't mistake that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're going to open it back up to questions to the superintendent and the Board of Ed Finance Director, and dive back into the operational side. So I've got a few things on my list. What I'd like to do is maybe try to, keep it to 2 to 3 kind of questions as we go around the first time. All right, that would give everybody a chance, and then we can obviously cycle back around and make sure everyone's satisfied. So let me dive into mine first because I'm selfish, and then I'll start to give it to everybody else. On the presentation, I just had a question going in, talking about the ESS program. Okay, it's slide 27. It talks about the 10 students max for CMS and the 20 at the high school. Is that correct? Yeah, come on.
What slide are you talking?
I'm on slide 27 of the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. When you say max, I'm assuming that means that we're short of those figures, like what, are we allowed to talk about how well who's in it now, like what are the numbers are now?
Yeah, I'll say max, we're close, we're close to that. So the
We are.
contract says that every clinician, one clinician to 10 kids. So it is a max that they can have on their caseloads.
Okay,
We sometimes leave wiggle room for like, at the high school, let's say, we can have a max of 20. Right now, maybe there's room for, we have 18, right? I don't have the exact number.
sure.
But in case kids, we want to exit kids and have room to bring kids in, sometimes we're right at max, and then we have a wait list of students that are going to be referred. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And the cost of that program is on there is about 400 and change, right?
Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
439,000.
But from what you're indicating and from the success of it, investing in that is saving us 6 figures a year. Is that an appropriate statement?
Appropriate, yes.
Great, okay. Secondly, again, just to make sure that we're on the same page with what is going on with the benefits side, okay? Obviously, you went out, you got multiple bids. Thank you, I'm sure you'll be coming back soon, so, don't go far. Yeah. You went out, obviously you got multiple bids, okay? What I just wanna make sure, I wanna make sure the public knows of is that you did your due diligence, you did your work. How many companies actually quoted you?
So on, United Healthcare said absolutely not, right? Or was it Aetna said no, thank you? The other 3 did.
Yeah, there was,
And then, partnership plan.
right,
we're
so
going-
state, Cigna, Aetna, and so it was a total of 4 that responded. One said absolutely not, state partnership plan, Cigna, and Anthem, and that's it.
And Aetna was the one, I believe, that said absolutely no, thank you.
And it was due to our claims.
Anthem and Cigna came close to the 33, we were going back and forth with them, and at the last minute, it was like, yes, course of discussion. We tried to get them to come back with their absolute lowest, I offered them 25%, because that was what I had budgeted. They said no, and they came back with that, I think, okay, good. You got the exact number right in front of you.
Cigna came in with 32.86 increase, Anthem 31.77. The partnership, as we already discussed, 23.71. And then there's another company, I don't recall, who declined to offer coverage.
United. United. Yeah, thank you. I thought it was
You guys were with Anthem before, or no, who are you guys with? Cigna,
Cigna.
Cigna, okay. And,
Chair, I just add, we're going from an HSA to a PPO also.
so this was my next question, am I safe to assume that through all the different options that you went through, that the one that is moving forward is the most cost-effective to the town?
It is the most cost-effective to the town, and it also gives, so you have 2 benefits, right? Most
Yep.
cost-effective to the town, but it also gives the employees a great plan, which is we're moving from a high deductible health plan
Yep.
to a PPO plan, and it also provides a HEP program, which makes sure our employees that work for the town and the district are healthy and strong, and they're going for their wellness visits.
Good.
So, it's 2 wins.
Is this just a 1 year, or is this a multiple year kind of situation with that? Is there,
So how pretty much the state partnership plan is, you're really kind of locked in, I mean, you could leave, right, first year, but there is a penalty. So you
Okay.
definitely want to stay 2 years, at least, possibly 3 decreases. However, how it works with the state partnership plan is, if they renew or they make any changes to their plan structure, and it, they will notify the participants that are involved, and you could pull out with any fine at that time.
with any fine?
Penalty.
Oh, without a fine?
Yes. So if
Okay.
they made any changes to their structure, you could
Gotcha.
pull out at that time.
Okay, okay. And if I'm doing the math correctly, I know, Dr. Macri, you had brought up 2.7, if the benefits had gone up the 7% as it had in the past. If I'm looking at my math, if the benefits had remained flat, So I'm talking, look at the increase outside the benefit, I'm coming up with 2%. You guys, I'm looking at slide 5 of the presentation, okay? So all I'm doing is if you take out the 1,069,000 increase in the benefits, okay? So if that number was 0,
Yeah.
the increase other than that would be 2%.
And it has been zero.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about half the, yeah.
Right.
And it has, we have had a zero in the past, so.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, we were shocked.
Yeah.
Yep, no, I'm just trying to compartmentalize
Scale.
you guys, and what I want to stress is, you saw what was going on, you did the work, you did the due diligence, we have to offer it, obviously to our employees and want to. This is the plan that, we're going with, and did the best you can within your control, and outside of that, it's 2%.
Yes.
Okay. The items, and then I'll move on, because I want to hold myself to the same standard, I'll leave it at 3. The Board of Ed deciding to utilize your surplus, okay? I think obviously it shows, that you guys are putting the skin in the game that you can here, and I certainly appreciate that. Just to make sure that I'm looking at it right, came to 390 something, is that about right?
397.
396, okay? Just so I've got it in my head, the 396, is that what's currently in the surplus now? No, that is what you anticipated being on June 30th of this year?
We haven't, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
Let us speak.
There's quite a bit more in there now, but we are earmarking the amount that we set aside for the track project.
Yeah, right.
So once that's
Yeah.
reduced.
Well,
yeah.
I'm taking that, that's already,
Okay, I just wanna make
I'm
sure that
assuming
was-
that's, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to be clear, yep.
Yeah.
So the balance is, that's exactly what's in there.
So where you're trending for the current year, when the books open again July 1, do you anticipate that surplus to be 0 with the results of the current year? Or do you think there'll be a surplus again for the next year?
Hard to tell, I think there will be a surplus, probably not as significant as previously.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I just wanted to know kind of how the math was all, but you guys, your intention is to utilize what you've got now to help offset this?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Mr. Blanchett, we'll start with you and then we'll look around.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that was my first question. So, okay, so the surplus was fiscal year 25 related surplus.
26. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
25?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on
Yeah.
the same page, I knew it, yeah.
All right. Just looking at the numbered slide 12, yeah. The reductions in terms of what happened from the original, like a superintendent's budget to the BOE approved. For the reductions, the first 2 lines are teaching and stipend salaries and support staff salaries. Were these just requested for new positions or new things that are not gonna be funded, or were these actually eliminations of positions?
One position is through attrition, and the other were new positions that were requested by the administration through the superintendent's budget, and then
Okay.
later discussed by the Board of Ed, and so I'm sharing the Board of Ed's budget.
Okay. So yeah, so compared to the seats that we have today and the roles we have today, no change other than maybe one through attrition.
Through attrition.
One through
Correct.
attrition. Okay. Okay, that was one, thank you.
As long as you don't cut us anymore.
Well, just to be clear, there's the two,
RBTs.
New,
Yeah.
yeah, that one
Yeah,
I
yeah.
picked up
I
on.
just
not
wanna make sure.
certified.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right, I just meant with those.
That's, you're right, that falls under right below it.
Yeah.
Yes, one's, you see it there.
Oh, and then also, just like a general overall comment, like this was a very good executive level presentation. You know, they always are, but this was, especially with the metrics around student performance and things like that. So really, nice job. On slide 29, just a suggestion or a nice to have, again, for next year, not like I need this now. I think, yeah, being able to show the trend, Cromwell relative state, can get very helpful, and you can see the trend. But one, maybe comparing it to the DERG, I don't know if they have that information at the DERG level, probably not.
We thought about that, and we would have to call every single.
Oh, then yeah.
It would take a lot of time.
Then state of Connecticut overall is fine. And then, maybe just a way to, just reorientate it would be, okay, Cromwell, right, the number of students, using the services in Cromwell, maybe just scale the state of Connecticut total population. Show it as a percentage, I guess, just a percentage to percentage.
Got it, yeah.
That's all. So that was that one. I still got one more?
You got one more.
I got one more.
That's it.
All right.
UConn is not even on and you're getting in trouble.
Yeah. It was related to the energy cost for CMS, so the last page, the last page of the facilities operations, detailed section. Because for CMS, I know Claudia left, right? Is that who you're looking for?
Oh, yeah, that's right, Chris can answer.
I remember last year, we were hopeful that the solar would be in there. You know, we know it's not in there for this fiscal year. I just want to know to what degree solar was contemplated or netted out of this need.
At this point, not knowing exactly the timeline for the solar panels, we didn't include any savings for those.
So the only thing I do know, when Claudio and I had a conversation yesterday, is they haven't even started, and let's say
Yeah.
September, October rolls around, we're still, when we can actually be getting most of our savings, we're not gonna be getting it. So we could play a game of a percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
And we don't know, and our utilities are, as you see, through the roof to begin with.
Okay, so. Yep, okay, it was probably just there was a little comment underneath that said no solar for first 6 months. I think the
Yeah.
comment really is just more of, no solar's been,
July, August, September, so, no, we
Yeah.
haven't had any at all.
right, that's why I said the little
Yeah.
note in the little table maybe is
Yeah,
of,
we don't think we're
there
gonna,
were-
we hope we get it
Yeah.
done by August.
well, we're out to bid,
Yeah. we
and
hope it
then,
comes
they're
back.
targeting September, October, but you're right,
What if we don't
Okay.
get it until December and then,
yeah. Nope, it was just knowing what was, built in or not. Otherwise, I guess, have you seen, we wouldn't have seen a full, I guess, we wouldn't have seen a full fiscal year's worth of operations on the school, but it looks like we're pegging it to the same,
what the engineers.
proposal as,
provide.
WIS.
Yeah. And with the number that the engineers provided to us, according to Claudio, is pretty much on point.
Okay, thank you.
We try to turn off the lights in the heat, but we freeze in there.
Hey, so just sticking on that subject then, so if it's gonna be, we think about the same amount of usage. I know it was a new school and there was something we might use more, but to Matt's point, and I realize if Claudio's not here, but it looks like it's gonna be the same amount of usage, one school to the next, whether it be WIS or CMS, even CHS looks like about the same amount of usage, plus or minus a little bit. I'm not talking about exact, but is that the assumption?
Feel
And I know
bad.
it's an estimate, I get it, just is that sort of the assumption now, and that's all I'm asking.
Yes. Yeah. To the best of our
Yeah,
ability.
sure, yeah, and I know Matt was asking about the timing and all of this and whatever else is going on with the solar, getting these folks to sign agreements or whatever is going on with that, and, so I hate to ask again, but so no one's given any indication of like when they come out, like it takes a month to do their work or whatever, like we're not at that point to know any better about anything at this
I
point.
don't think so, and a lot of it has to do with that we're doing with the building committee, so we're kinda, I hate to say because we're all the same team, right? Stuck in the middle a little, but the building committee is working their hardest with trying to get all this done, and we haven't really gotten a,
So I think we'll just say for next fiscal year, hopefully we can have the benefit of hindsight to see how it's been going. But I think the point is if it gets installed in September, October, you're not, you're not gonna really get too much created by the system, but it still should help. I mean, it still should offset some of the usage.
Again, because what is the assumption is, it's basically the AC system that's gonna drive all the costs then or a lot of it? I mean, saying like, what, in October, we barely use any electricity on the bill? I don't understand that. That's what
No,
we're-
it's just the solar. Sorry, I love solar. Matt Zabrowski could talk about solar for hours. It's just that you have something that's going to create electricity for the building, but it's dependent on when the sun is up. So if you put it in October, you know, the amount of daylight there just isn't as much as it would be from June to, yeah.
That's fine, okay, all right. Back on the surplus, because we all like to talk about that. So I think for fiscal year '25, the surplus was 598,000. Right? And Chris, I'm actually looking at you have a letter I think you sent to the Board of Ed and kind of, because the audit came out and you kind of verified it was 598,206.
Right, yeah, there was, previous, in fiscal year '24, there was a smaller amount, much smaller amount deposited, around $1,400, I think.
Right, yeah.
And then we had last year's, and so, the total amount is those two amounts combined, and then when the audit came through, Ms. DeVoe let me know that the auditors had, added about $20,000 to that.
In the round, yeah, thank you for the detail. I was definitely not trying to verify on the dollar, but thank you though. So the 598, and again, you made us have to explain it to me. So we start the year with this surplus fund of 598, and I think some of that went for the track, the high school track and all, which.
Approximately 200,000.
200,
yeah.
right, yes. And that left about 398,000. And only because the numbers are so close, like the 396, 398, is that the same number or is it a different number? Am I asking, sort of like,
I'm not sure.
you had the 598, and then we took 200,000 out, or it's been allocated, so some accounts got 398 in it, and now this fiscal year is kind of rolling along, and we think maybe we might finish with 396. Do I add those numbers to get, that's what I'm looking, just explain to me, we're not adding the numbers.
Sharon gave me the number of 396, that was the exact amount in the,
So in fiscal year 25 is 1,426. In the next fiscal year it was 596,780. And then in October of 25, we took 201,570 out for the track, which leaves a surplus balance of 396,636.
Sure, okay.
and that's the number you see in the budget.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, so on the page that you submitted there, so that's the 396 there, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then, maybe my brain just can't handle this, asking this question the right way, but, so that in this current year we're in, do we sort of, is that surplus sort of like over here, and we're actually running our operation year, and there might be a surplus just in this operation year, outside of this 396, it's its own kind of number?
Correct.
Okay, all right, okay. And we don't know yet, but could be 100, could be 200, something like that, maybe we don't know, somewhere in that rough number, we just don't know yet, okay. And I get variables could come up, we don't know, okay, so that's the story of the 396, okay, thank you. So on the healthcare thing, right, you guys are going along, so I'm not looking to change that or get in the way of that train at this point in time. But a question I did have, was, this idea of the level funded plan put forth by Cigna. And as I look at the numbers, I'm sure there's a better explanation on it, but the initial numbers that were put in the presentation, just quote unquote, right from the presentation, give to the Board of Education, there'd be a 3% increase in the renewal rates. I know there's other factors in there, blah, 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 I get all that stuff, but really what I'm just asking is, like, was there a good conversation about that as an option? Like, was there something like right away it says, would never think about it, or just not right now, we'd like to participate, we like the other plan better, but the level funding one at least deserves to be like in a good conversation at some point, as an option, or is there something like, no way, never would want to do that kind of plan?
I'm not quite sure I'm understanding what you're asking. Do you mind repeating?
Yeah, so this is right, was reported, presented to the Board of Ed, I assume the administration's seen this and all, I'm really pulling the words right out of, that presentation, that Cigna indicated that if the Board of Ed were to pursue a level funded renewal, there would be a 3% increase to the renewal rates.
Right.
I'm just asking, I realize there's more to it, I
Yes.
get that, but I'm just asking,
This is provided to us, yes, from a layer of the.
I was just asking, like, is that like something worth looking at? Again, you guys made a decision now, that's fine, I'm just looking like, oh, is that something like, we just, for a lot of reasons, so many moving parts, unions, like, that just didn't feel right, but could we in the future, or was there like a dead-on arrival, like you'd never think of that option?
It was an additional 3%, so the percentage was already 32%, so.
Oh, so it's an addition, then why are they even offer that then?
We would never. That's why we're
All right,
confused. There's your
okay.
question. We're like, wait
All
a
right.
minute. We don't want the 3%,
Exactly.
which is exactly why would, if
Well,
we
well,
had to
oh,
have considered
oh,
Anthem.
only because
level
level funded is not necessarily self-funded, right? But there is an aspect of it, the way they run and all that stuff, so logically it makes sense that the premiums would be less. So I'm not sure how they could be asking more.
They were
They're
asking
asking the
for more.
administration to do more.
Yes,
It's not-
and they're
That's
just-
crazy.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Cigna was
Charging us to help us.
very, yes, they're charging us to help us save money. Yeah, at least Anthem didn't do that much. Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Thanks. So on the surplus amount, that's being used to offset capital type expenditures, not being used to offset any operational type costs, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
All of it's in the capital tab, and I believe system-wide, we're purchasing a firewall with it, but
Right.
we're really trying to stay away from operational things that would skew our budget process
Right, good.
next year.
Yeah,
by
I was just
by
confirming that. I
making a
thought
big
that's
reduction.
what was happening,
Yep.
but this
All one-time stuff.
this conversation was confusing me a little bit, so I wasn't sure. I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah.
That's great. So when I look at where the big increases are coming from, and if I split out, certified from non-certified staff, your non-certified staff's going up about 9% in cost. And I know you have two positions coming in, but they're relatively small dollars. Are we losing some grant money, or is there something happening in the non-certified staff to drive up costs 9%? I'm just looking at the salaries,
Yeah,
certified staff.
It's all based on the contract, so, I can't speak to exactly.
Because
what
you have a lot of grant money that goes against those, but you can't, in your presentations, in your detail, you don't provide any comparison year over year for that information. You just show what's happening this year. And what I can't tell is is there certain staff members that got grant money last year that are not getting grant money this year, and that's what's driving some of that up? I just don't think your contracts are saying your salaries are going up 9% on these positions.
I don't think there's significant changes to the grant allocation that would make.
So I'm just not understanding how you're getting
We'll
it to a
explain it to you,
9% increase.
and it's terrible, but it's
Okay.
legal.
Okay,
So, this current October 2025, it's not a new law, but the Connecticut FMLA law, actually affected school districts and
Okay.
for non-certified staff. So what we saw this year, which no one was really prepared
Okay.
for, is more non-certified staff going out on
Gotcha.
FMLA leave. So
Yep.
what basically occurred for us is we needed more non-certified staff as long-term subs
right.
and more subs to cover those absences when people were out for 6 weeks, 8 weeks,
So
10
you have more
weeks.
sub-hours being,
Yes,
Is-
and more employees coming in to cover for those absences.
is that broken out in these details here? Is there a way to see that? I mean, that would be helpful to just recognize what's the drivers behind this. I mean, you have contractual drivers, and then you have this issue relative to people who are out on extended leave, which is very appropriate, but then you have to
We have-
cover that time.
So we do have a subline, and we have different sublines, right? We have the subline for certified and non-certified. And
Right.
exactly what you're saying, Dan, is exactly what we have to do at the end of this year. Because
Yeah.
when we do it from month to month,
Yeah.
so when Michelle, I'm not laughing because it's actually scary. So when we just looked at the month of September, it was about a $25,000 swing. Like, it was tremendous.
Sure.
In difference. So at the end of the year.
And this is a recent change
In
to the law
legislation,
that's
yeah.
creating a little more tension in the
Right.
ability for people to take longer.
Leaves. So
Okay.
there's a fee now that comes out of only non-certified staff, and it gives them the ability to use their sick time while they're out, and then they can keep 10 sick days on the books. And so we have found, and you're talking about part-time positions that might work 15 hours a week and go. So when you have a 15-hour position that goes out, now I'm hiring a sub to cover for a 15-hour position.
Sure.
So, normally on a given year, we might have seen anywhere from 20 to 30 people out on FMLA for the year. This year, currently, right now, I think I'm around 47, and it's April 1st, or April 2nd today, and I'm probably close to 50 people out, so far. And more FMLA,
Yep.
constantly are coming in.
Yep.
So
Okay.
more people have the opportunity, which we're happy they have the opportunity, but it's a huge impact to the district.
I think that the biggest thing is for us, right, and a lot of superintendents and a lot of legislators are having this discussion. Of course, we want to take care of our people, and the implication, I think, that no one really thought of was, when you're working in a school system, you need a substitute. If you're working in an office, you may be able to figure it out,
Right.
but when you're in a school, you need someone there for you every day.
So if you have a para that's being covered by a grant today, and they go out on leave, are you covering the cost of the sub that comes in, or is there additional grant money that comes in? So all those positions, you're at risk, quote unquote, at risk.
Right, so
I
we're
don't wanna put it in
paying,
terms that sounds negative, because people
yeah,
should have their
right.
leave, but from a budgetary perspective, you're at risk for having to cover all those positions, even though half your positions are covered by some level of grant money.
right, because you're paying that employee that's out of the grant fund.
Right.
And then you're paying the sub
But
out
now
of
you have
LEA funds.
actual dollars coming out of the budget,
Mhm.
out of the, out of the funds to cover those subs that are coming in.
Correct.
Can I
Sure.
just follow up on
Yeah.
that? So, did you say you have 50 non-certified people out on FMLA?
No, a total,
Oh, the
a
whole
total
the
this
total.
year, yeah.
And what's your total head count for the system?
For the district, I would say anywhere from 398 to 400 employees.
So, like 14% of your entire workforce?
I've never seen anything like this. And no,
That
not
is-
alone. I've never seen anything like this.
Wow.
It's the new state law.
It's the law.
Well, but I haven't heard from anybody that they're getting
Oh, we're getting it.
one out of 8, essentially.
Every school district, we are all having the same discussion. We are getting
And that's,
pummeled.
when you say 50 people out, is that over the course of the year up till now, or?
That's over the
So
course
not
of
all
the
at the
year.
same time?
Not at all the same time,
Okay.
so it's over the course of the year.
And some are a week and some are 6 months, could be
Right,
anything.
some are
Right.
intermittent, some intermittent, some are, yeah, you're right, a week, some are, usually a week, I'm not gonna put under FMLA.
Right.
But anything over a week I would, so the majority would be 2 weeks, the majority are like anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
The only other question I had was on 330. And you had showed something during the presentation that, because when I went back and looked at it, just an area that had a pretty high percentage increase,
Yeah.
right? But you said there was some money that was moving between. When I added up the numbers behind it, the actual number, the budgetary number that you had in here, added up to all the individual pieces. But the last year's budget number actually comes up higher than what you're showing on the front page. So you're showing this big increase, but I can't find where that increase is coming from in any of the detail. So if I look at all the individual pieces, were you showing 405, 619 for 2025, 26 adopted? I actually add up
I'm
to
sorry, what page are you on?
$500,000.
What are you looking at?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the executive summary page. So, which all, that has the full number, sorry about that. And I'm looking at 521, 197 for your proposed 26, 27 budget. This is the number 330, other professional technical services.
Correct.
And I can add up to that number, looking at all the individual pieces. But I come up to a $500,000 number when I go to all the detailed pages. And I don't know if it goes back to the adjustments that were made, or some adjustment that was made that you talked about in the presentation. I just couldn't get to, like, I couldn't find where this increase was coming
Yeah,
from.
330 it is spread out across the book.
I
across
did,
the
yeah, and I
binder.
went back and I added the 8 numbers up, or whatever it
So,
was. I
you
looked at, essential services, ECS.
Yep, each school has its own, and then there's also, a part of it is under the curriculum and instruction.
I would just suggest go back and, we don't need to,
The
we don't
Board
need
of
to
Ed
go
asked
through
the
this
same
tonight now.
question. We did.
Just go back and add up your number from last year across all those detailed pages.
Okay.
I'm seeing a 500,654 number come up, not a 405,619 number. So I can't find where you're showing a 28% increase in this line item on your executive summary. I don't see where there's that difference in all the individual pieces. There's no one place where that number is showing up as a big variance.
I believe the issue is in the previous year's budget in 330, in the, the curriculum and instruction, there's two sections, 322 and 330. And 100,000 was
So this
supposed
is,
to be in.
this is what was in the presentation that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
If you give me 1 second, I can tell you about it.
So you reflected that in your detailed information, where you made that adjustment, but it's
Right.
not reflected on the,
I'm not seeing it, but I'm certain that that's where the discrepancy is. It was between 322 and 330. Last
Okay.
year, that amount of money was it was like
So if you-
misidentified in the wrong, it was in the wrong object, and so we made that correction
I got you.
for this year.
So if I take the 101, negative 101, 635, and the 115, positive 115, 578, I'll get to closer to what the variance really is in that.
Yeah, if you look on the executive summary, C under C322, instructional program improvement, 25-26, it was 396,541, and this year we're proposing 294,905, so it's approximately $100,000 less. And when
Okay.
you look at 330, other professional technical services, you've seen it's gone from 405 last year to 521 this year. And that's because of that 100,000 that was supposed to be in the 330, but it was put in 322 in error,
Okay,
on paper.
yeah, okay,
So we just made that adjustment to put it in the correct object.
okay. I would just, I understand, I agree. I would just take a look at the alignment with the detail pages with the front page would be
Sure.
helpful, that's all.
Thank you.
Okay, I got you, thanks. All right, I'm good, yeah, thanks, John.
Okay, I think I only have one thing, and but I'm a little confused. This is on, going back to, health insurance. So, it's a big number, but I think some of the places, the numbers don't seem the same. And this is what I'm looking at. So starting on your slides, number 23. So.
Slide 23.
Slide 23. Benefits as a whole went up 16.53, so that is probably medical more than anything, but not only medical, obviously.
Correct.
Okay. So below it says medical dental went up 23.71. But at some point, someone said that the state partnership plan was a 9% increase.
Right,
And
it
what-
should just say medical.
Okay.
I won't
Let me-
let you go further, but.
That was me. We got a different rate from the state than they did.
Okay,
But that 23.71, that's for medical insurance, not dental, so you can just cross that out.
okay, so, medical, and is that the increase from what we paid last year to whoever our vendor was, to what we intend to pay this year to the state partnership is 23%?
That's what the brokers told us the increase would be over last year's expenses as
Right.
calculated by them. However, the amount that we had budgeted last year, was slightly different. So there is some discrepancy between, our budget from 25, 26, making the leap to 26, 27. So I don't know if you're
Okay.
asking why is it not exactly 23.71 in the
Well-
table?
Well, in the table, it's 19.06.
Yeah, correct.
And the reason for that is because there was an over appropriation last year, so we don't have to increase our budget?
Right.
Okay. So that's part of, if we have a surplus this year, that's part of the surplus, or from last year, not about it.
Well, there's, yes,
Yeah, right,
certainly,
okay.
there's a lot of variability each year in terms of how much benefits that we actually expend.
Right, but I'm saying the reason it shows at 19.06 here when we had well, of course you had other things rolled in.
But you're not off track. That is.
Yeah.
Because you're right, the overage that we had last year in benefits is going to change exactly what you're saying.
It's
Right,
19%
okay.
higher than what we
What we
budgeted last year.
for last
Okay.
year, yeah.
But okay, let me put it a slightly different way. From the amount, the 23.71, whatever it is a jump between what we actually paid for medical services in fiscal year '25 to what we anticipate paying in fiscal '26. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And budgetarily, it's slightly less than that because the amount we budgeted last year was higher than the amount we actually spent.
Exactly. I asked the
Okay.
same question, yes.
Okay.
Well, it was fine, because I remember.
Yeah, okay. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm good.
So I just have one question. So just looking at the trends slide 17 and the graphic above it, which I don't think has a number on it, but just from like a program perspective, so obviously it looks like maybe some of our student population is declining, maybe, looking at slide 15, over the last couple of years, looks like maybe those are not all seniors, but we go from 147 to 135 to 127, but I think it's painting a picture of, there's a declining trend line there.
So our enrollment report, that was just updated, oh my gosh, was it 2 years ago? It's 10 years out. There was definitely a small dip for a while, and then it goes back up.
Okay. So, going back to slide 17, so the list of where students are going, 2025 decreases, it's about 58 students. So, like, are we tracking, like, are students going into trade programs, apprenticeships, military, like, is there another story there that?
Yes, there's a
We're-
bigger, yes.
Okay,
There's also a story of students who graduate, and go into the workforce. If we have students, that we are still responsible for that, are maybe outplaced
sure,
at an outplace, then they are still in our, enrollment numbers. However, they may not be attending, or they may be moving on to the 18, 22 through 22-year-old program. So yes, you're right, there's more to this story.
okay. Yeah, because I was just trying to,
Add the numbers, yeah.
well, yeah, but, for 21, our cost per student is 21,000. Obviously, you don't always want to probably be at the top of the list, right? You want to be in the middle, but and this is more of like, maybe 21,000 is not even enough to make sure, like, are we spending enough to prepare our students for futures that maybe aren't
Exist today.
for college level education, if college level education is the gold bar standard?
Yeah. No, we are doing so much with, I can have Carrie, if you'd like to know, or you could call us. And we can explain the whole college career pathway, everything that we've been doing in the different careers. We should have someone working, with the guidance office, to make sure that we are doing this. So we put a ton, that was one of our big, initiatives.
And I wanna say that this is also just what
Pathways.
we know.
So
Right,
not all
yeah.
kids share
Yeah,
where
you
they're
can't track
going.
after they
So
leave,
what
right?
we-
Once they're gone,
what
they're gone.
we know, we include
Yeah.
in here, but this is certainly not comprehensive.
Yep.
I could pull up, every year I have to submit a report of what percentage of students are going off to college, two-year colleges versus four-year colleges versus, military. We're always within the same percentages, give or take, depending on the class and how many kids are in the class. So that report goes out, and that's our, we have to put together a whole district report on that, which gets published as our, profile, school
Yep.
profile. I'm like, I
They don't leave
couldn't
us
come up with
alone
that
after
word.
the kids graduate. They want, like, we're supposed to be following
Right,
them all.
yeah, yeah.
Right,
But they,
Sure.
These are what we know of.
Yeah, that might be helpful, maybe just to see for future,
Like a little
presentation.
information about
Yeah, just like, where's our student population going, just so we know that it's not just, we're not just focused 100% on getting kids into college, which is obviously very important, but there's a lot of career paths.
You are 100% right, and I would probably tell you that right now, one of our largest focuses at the high school, our moving mountains is career pathways.
Yeah.
And what to do.
Great.
Yeah.
No,
We even
that's
have, kids going out into the workforce more than ever.
That's good to hear, love it. All right, thank you.
Sure. But we could put that in for next year.
All right, you wanna go first? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry to bring us back on the benefits. Maybe,
Do you know we have PTSD from benefits, Mr. Blanchett?
sorry, I have
You're making it
PTSD.
worse.
I have PTSD from like not, like understanding the numbers tie.
Trust us,
But
so
it's
did
my
we.
fault, not yours.
No, it's
It's
complicated.
Did Mr. Maley already ask us the more detailed breakout in the benefits section? Yeah, shows the 16.53 increase to that line item, benefits. But you had the medical and dental at 23.71. How does that jive with the 1906?
Yes, he asked
Sorry,
that
I missed
question.
that. Sorry.
But we could repeat it, and
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. No, it's all
Okay,
right. It
go
had to
ahead.
be explained to me like 3 times too, so go ahead, Chris.
So the 23% increase was given to us by our brokers and working with the insurance company based on what they perceived our expenditures, or what our expenditures were the previous year. So
Gotcha.
the 19 or the 16% change, 19% change is a 19% increase over
Budgeted.
our actual budget. Yes.
Okay, so I would say that's the more accurate bottom line number than what the quote, okay. Also on the insurance though, you mentioned going from a high deductible to a PPO, and then just naively, I know when I'm offered that at work, PPO is more expensive. Is it just the breakpoints of the deductibles, or what's included? That's all.
This is the first time we were, and I don't like to say ahead of the game, right? So I came from a district that offered a PPO.
Yeah.
I came here and I went, oh my God, I have the worst insurance in the world, right? But then I saw the value in an HSA, and I understood how it worked, and we were ahead of the curve in going to HSAs
Okay.
so that it was less expensive to the district. However, you were contributing as a district, so you kind of understood it. We have never been in the position, and our unions have been asking, can we go to the state partnership plan? And we always would love to say, yes, we'd love to give you the better benefits, but the cost to the district would have been astronomical. But this year, when we got the 52% increase, we said, this is the time to do it.
Oh, right, you're going between
You're going
providers, but
between
is there,
private, yeah.
does the state partnership not offer a high deductible plan?
They do not.
Okay, that would have
No,
been the question,
yes.
okay, because I would think if they had an apples to apples, it would be.
They don't have, no, they do
cheaper.
not.
Okay,
Which is why we have the unions, agree with us, work with us.
all right. Bonus question number 3. The tuition section, breakout section. So what are we looking at here? Is this, 560 tuition? So this isn't like student services, this is, people that are going to these magnets. Are we
Correct.
paying for them to have, is this kind of like school choice, open, I don't know what the
Yeah,
right word is?
magnet school tuition and VOAG tuition.
Yeah. Do we have numbers to go with it? Like, it seems like it varies wildly. So the magnet school was 270 last year, it's 160 this year. Does that just reflect, we have 5 kids this year, 7 kids last year, or is that?
The number has been decreasing, and so we did a really deep dive into looking at our tuition program and what our actual expenses were.
Okay.
And we have seen a decline in numbers. And in addition, the state recently, there's a cap now on what that tuition amount can be, and that wasn't always the case. So it gives us a real nice boundary in terms of, predicting what we're gonna expend.
They used to be able to, I ran this and with hundreds of kids in a different district. You would get a bill and you wouldn't even know you would know you were getting a bill. You had no idea how much they were charging. It was pie in the sky. So actually it's that legislation right now because they're saying they're not getting enough money, so they wanna change it back to the old way or at least increase it. But at least now we have an exact number for every kid that goes to any magnet school. It was not like that for many years.
Okay, and then, so the cost for us to send out is going down, and then this last line, tuition revenue for non-resident, that's students outside of Cromwell electing to come to Cromwell School, again, through an open choice type program, and then the state or the municipalities are giving us, how come the number doubled? I know, went from 20 to 40.
That's strictly for individual students who their family choose to come here. They want to pay the tuition rate. So it's roughly $20,000 per student. So you can get an idea how many people we're talking about.
Okay. Doubled. Get more customers. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think I got two other quick items, and I think I'm in a pretty good spot. Can we look at the very back page, grants? So, I guess just for clarity, the grants that are on here and the numbers, are those what you anticipate for the next fiscal year, or are those what came in currently for this year? So the 902 that's up top there, is that what you anticipate for 27, or is that what you got for 26?
The open choice attendance grant, Kiri, come up here, is this
These are current. For current, however, the open choice grant is not, it doesn't really align with the fiscal year, so.
Sure, I'm just asking,
Yeah.
like, this isn't
Yeah.
what you believe is coming.
I'll-
Yeah, right, okay.
Sometimes they're a little less, sometimes they're a little more, it depends, each grant has its own sort of calculation, so for open choice, it depended upon the number of students that we have in the district for the attendance grant, and we get reimbursed, we get reimbursed based on the student, so that number varies from, 90 to 86, or, like, it does, vary back and forth, so it depends on how many students choose to come to Cromwell through that grant. Other grants, like our, state grants, they're based on a formula of how many students, like, for example, our Title III grant is EL, so it really depends on what the population of our English language learners is at any given time in the district, and there's some formula that they put together. Same for Title I, how many students are in the district that qualify for Title I services. That number fluctuates a little bit, so we can't really predict, but we can put in there what we got for this year.
Yeah, right,
just to make
it's you can tie it to something.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so,
you remember last year we explained, like, the open choice grant, like Chris just said, it's not, unfortunately, July to June.
Yeah,
It
right.
goes, into the
yeah,
next
no, I'm
year.
not,
Okay.
it was just, I was using it it was the top one, so I was just using that as an example. All right, so, just real quick, so, I'm looking at the sheet from last year, so the drip one, that's a new one that's come through for this year?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, that's a brand-new state grant. It's just rolling out right now. They just had a huge webinar with all the districts, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we completed our paperwork, and we're supposed to be notified sometime in May what funds we're gonna get, but the number listed there is what we're anticipating, based on a list that came out already.
okay, so, so that's something you guys haven't thought about yet as far as where that's gonna go towards or what that's gonna do yet? You're still waiting to make sure it
We wanna
comes in.
secure the money first.
Yeah, and then,
Yep.
yeah, gotcha, all right. And then on some of these, if I see a real swing, it's just mostly based upon, like I said, the student population for the most part?
Formula, like the big
Yeah.
swing with EL, and,
I'm looking at the idea,
IDEA,
B
yes.
and H, the top one there says 24, 241.
Yeah, these are all, the really tricky thing about these are all 2-year grants. So you're looking at, often like the first line is the amount that's being rolled, it's a second year, so it's the amount that's being rolled over for, or sort of like what's left in that 2-year grant in year 2. And then the bottom grant number is usually like the new 2-year grant that we're just starting. So
Okay.
it's still fully funded.
Okay,
that
because
makes
I'm looking
sense.
at this, it's like a $400,000
Yeah, so-
decrease, so I'm going,
So if you look at like the
Yeah.
title, like the Title I, it's only $12, but for 24-20, it's 24-25. So we're wrapping up year 2. It's been mostly expended in year 1, so there's really not much left. And then you can see on the row underneath it, Title I for 25 to 27. That's the amount that we received that we
So-
haven't really tapped into yet.
yeah, I think the only other real big one, I guess I'll just ask about is the second to last of the ARPA health specialist there. Well, at least last year, looking at this, it was about 150. And then this year, so is that just a hit that you guys took?
Yep.
Or,
That's
no?
No, the 150 from last year was the grant that we received from
Yeah.
the Christmas.
But is that still going from,
So, no. I'll
No.
let Sarah explain.
Okay.
It's different. It's a little
Gotcha.
confusing. I know.
Because we got that one.
The 150 was separate than
Totally separate.
Gotcha.
Last minute,
Mhm.
not lesser
That was
advocated.
last minute.
That's
and
that
Chrissy
one.
Carpino,
Okay.
and we had
Okay.
it once, it was a one-time deal, and it went away.
This one spanned, actually, we had two 60,000, I believe, yeah, one already, we spent, so we have 60, and then 42 left, because it spanned between 2 years, obviously, and we use for our mental health specialists, which are social workers we put it towards.
Okay.
So that kind of explains that, yeah.
okay.
And just, we had I remember a lengthy discussion about this last year. This, just to be clear, these are grants which are in every way possible outside the budget, right? I mean, they come in to you, and they are used by you for things that we are not otherwise appropriating to you.
Right, so.
Right, okay.
God forbid we ever lost any of this money, and we've had those conversations before in the past.
Right.
It's like, what do we give up because we have to follow, some of these are,
Right.
they're law.
Yeah. Well, some of these are, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, are, you make a request for a grant to do a particular thing and you get the money and you do it. And others of them are grants that, are based on your status in
Right,
some way.
obligatory,
And
right,
you
yes.
use it for whatever you want to.
Well,
Or
they give us
within
a,
limits,
yeah, I
you
know,
know, I
yes,
mean,
they
but-
give us a,
Yeah.
tell us how to use it,
Not
like,
anything, but.
right, like program improvement.
It's not for,
professional
I wanna buy
development.
this chair.
Yes,
It's for-
exactly.
Yeah, okay. So this, whatever the totality of this number is, you're spending that much more
in education.
in whatever year you get it than we're appropriating
Yes.
to you. Okay.
Continue going around. Steve?
Hey, on the system-wide part of the book, page 3, the district busing, the supplemental payment, is that a one-time through the settlement recently, or is that just something else?
Another PTSD moment. I will but let me tell you, your superintendent did a really good job, because she didn't cave till the very last, second, didn't let her board cave, while other districts did. Chris, do you want to explain this? I could, but it raises my blood pressure to a new level.
Right, so, we had a conversation with DACO earlier in the year. Basically, they wanted to relook at their rates, et cetera. A discussion was had with the Board of Ed and DACO and how to best address this situation. And so part of the outcome, in addition to increasing rates, was a supplemental payment up front, and so that's what that 96.4 is.
So they were asking us, and not just us, everybody, they had a contract with their employees. They bid our job without providing health insurance to a certain amount of employees, which they 100% deserve. They came to us and asked for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I then went back and said, no, these are your employees, and you should have known this, and you should have been offering this to them a long time ago. So you're not really getting any love from me. By the end, every district had to cave, or we were going to not have any bus, and that kept happening. The Board of Education came to the table and we said, okay, this is what we are willing to give, which is a tiny piece of what other districts gave. And we held out to the very last minute, up until the point of where we were ready to cancel buses, and we didn't know what we were gonna do from Friday to Monday. So this is the agreement we made. We have to provide this money to DACO, so that our kids get transported. But I will tell you, compared to other districts, we did pretty well. But we did not see it coming.
Was there another payment then in this current fiscal year too then we had to do, or?
We have a 4% increase. Our norm.
This year?
Did we have to make another,
Oh, no,
because
we
this
didn't
is a supplemental payment
No,
for coming
starting-
up.
Coming up, yeah.
Correct, coming up.
Okay, so that's where you,
We didn't make a
got it.
We waived we got the first, some districts paid this year too, we did not.
And then on that same page, just given what's going on in the world, the diesel at $2.44 a gallon, just curious, are you concerned about that, or you feel good about that? We locked that in, okay, good, all right, great, thank you. 5, the firewall there, that looks like a, fairly significant item. Is that do we know, is there some components of that are like one-time things, like we're buying hardware or doing something else that we're not gonna be doing every year, or is that like a new system and setup, and that's just gonna kind of be an annual cost going forward?
I don't know if Steve is still here, but
Steve, can you talk about the firewall? Matt might want to talk about, Mr. Zabrowski might want to talk about this. Shall we? We shall not.
Hey, so Steve, so just the question was just because there's the firewall side, it's called out in big yellow blob here for $60,000. I was just curious, is some of that like a one-time thing and then future years will be less, or that's a kind of going forward run rate?
That's a renewal of the software agreement for the bundle and packages of the services. Basically, we have 2 of those now with the addition of the new middle school. We have what's known as high availability, so that we have failover resiliency. So unfortunately, it requires 2 of the same packages.
Basically, this will just be there every year then going forward, with whatever price increases come with it, or inflation,
That
or
is yes.
whatever else thing they go ahead and do then.
No one look at Mr. Zabrowski. No eye contact.
Fine, I don't know where it is, but is it basically that, and again, if you can't talk to it or whatever, maybe I'm not trying to cross a big line here, but maybe you can't. Is it basically that 1 out of every 6 students is in an IEP of some kind? Do I have it close to that? It's 1 out of 6, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 6.5, or something like that.
Currently, I haven't ran the numbers today. I think we have about 200, give or take, 89 students with IEPs. And then another probably close to 200 with 504 plans, so. But we're,
About a quarter of the student population or thereabouts, right?
another 200 with 504s.
Of course, yeah, I know you have to, yeah. And it just, obviously, there's things that come with that, and we understand we want to do everything, all the right things, of course, right? But either just in general, are we seeing, like, is that ever going to change in a way that's less like that, or that's just, or is it gonna continue to trend up, and even, we don't know?
We don't know. We hope. We want to be able to provide our children with the services that they need morally and lawfully. We are seeing a significant rise in needs of students. There's research out there that is medically driven. There's all different types of research that we can't 100% understand yet, because it's all of us having a really difficult time with providing, especially with young students that are struggling, and I hate the word behavior. It's an antecedent of something else. So to me, I don't want to get too deep, but it's trauma informed most likely, and the antecedent is the behavior. And so to help the student regulate that behavior is very costly.
Another example, I don't think referrals are going to go down. The high school level, and we're getting pushed from the legal counsel, students with attendance issues, we need to go to referral. Often they will end up either having a 504 or an IEP because it's impacting their progress educationally, so it's a lot more.
I forgot about that. There are so many more things that you have to go to child find now, where we would say, we know this child is absent and we believe this is why we have conversations with families and, because that's what we do. The very first thing, if there's an issue, we have to say, we have to go to child find. Have we done our due diligence to make sure that this child doesn't need an IEP? And that has changed over time as well. And I think it's a good thing because we want to meet our kids where they are. But we are, like we showed you the slide, we are in line with the state trend. But yes, it's alarming.
Okay, the last question, and so just sort of like similar maybe to ESS, and I don't want to use the terms incorrectly in the wrong location, but given the numbers we just talked about, are there other programs that other districts or anyone are looking at to maybe do to be of more benefit somehow, or is this just sort of this homegrown organic, we just got to figure it out on our own and we don't really want to get anyone else involved, or?
I don't think that, and Sarah can speak for it too, I think we're always looking for different ways. It took a long time for school systems to say we need outside help, outside clinicians, and a lot of that having to do with the needs of the students and the fact that they need wraparound services that we can't provide after 3 o'clock or in the summer. We also have started our own programs like the ABA program. Do we feel like programmatically we need to look at something for elementary? Yes, we do. We know that. However, no one outside is offering anything like ESS would not be, but they're working on it. And I'm not saying we're going to hire ESS, but they're working on it. No one can provide what we need at that level at this time. But we're always open and we're always trying new things within ourselves, within our own staff. The BCBAs, the RBTs are instrumental to making these work, because if you don't have the right people in the right place, it's not going to be successful.
One more, I guess, example, and then I think you made a good point. Like, for instance, I just signed a very small contract with ACES to come in and have some more behavioral support and observations and recommendations of what more we can do in our elementary level. So we're always looking, and that's another resource just to look out elsewhere other than what we already have in district to see what other supports we can put in place. So always looking, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just along the same lines, I was trying to think through like metrics. So the ESS program that you guys put in place, and by all measures, the charts that you're showing, it feels like it's working. It's like, but is there a measure around, like, one of the objectives was stay inside the district as opposed to outside the district? Is there like a percentage of students that are in the district now getting services as opposed to going outside the district? That
I know, we always have this conversation because it's not apples to apples, but what we can say is, I guess for as long as I've actually been here, 10 years, and since we've implemented ESS and other programs, my outplacement numbers haven't increased. They ebb and flow always to stay around the same.
Right.
So that's a good thing. They haven't increased. So we are keeping, with needs being more, there's more needs and more needs, as we know. We've kept that number pretty much the same, but I don't think I could really quantify what you're asking. Yeah.
As a percentage of your total spend for inside the district, the special services percentage, I didn't do the numbers, but I mean,
I think that was in the pie
is
chart.
that
No?
staying level as a percentage? Is that going down as a percentage? Is it still increasing as a percentage?
The services are increasing. The price and services are increasing.
Yeah.
So I would say over the past 10 years, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no, it was on a huge,
Absolutely.
it was on a huge rise. The question
Yes.
is, are we starting to see
Yes,
that?
we're starting to see some stabilization. Yes.
Stabilization
Yes.
around that,
We're keeping our
the
fingers
percentages?
Cross,
around that.
yes. We saw that huge incline where we couldn't even wrap our, we couldn't even figure it out. It was
Right.
so high, and everyone, right, the shortage of, behavior techs and teachers and special education teachers, and then it just, you know,
Right.
the price increases. But yes, we feel like
Well,
we're,
the tension is always like, it's on a rise because we don't really have the right services to provide, and so more and more students
could be,
need
yeah.
more and more services, but now you've gotten to a point where you're actually providing the level of services necessary, and so we're seeing that now
Yeah, and after,
stabilizing.
when we got back from COVID, it was all over the
Right.
place. We had
Right.
no idea. It was, you know, that was scary.
Yep, okay. And the state's funding of that is still,
That beautiful formula that we always
Yeah.
try to explain, yes, it's that same formula.
Same formula.
That drives us crazy.
yep, okay, got it. I get, just one more question on benefits. I know this has been something
Okay.
we've gone around and around. And so we went from a high deductible plan to a PPO plan, and I know Matt said generally you will see a higher. But of course, on high deductible plans, the company or the district can fund some of that, self-fund some of that. And did we self-fund a portion of that, like through an FSA account or something like that, right? And so
Yes, we funded a percentage of that into an HSA.
Into an
Health
HSA
Savings
account,
Account
right?
Card, yep. HSA, we funded it in the high deductible health plan, but for the new plan, for a PPO plan, you can't fund it into an HSA, you only can fund
Right.
it into an FSA.
FSA account, right, I had it reversed, right. Yeah, so is that part of the balancing as well, is that, you know, that you are funding a portion of that deductible in a HSA, and you're funding less of that now in the FSA, because
We-
more of the services are being provided by the PPO
So we're
with
not,
less deductibles.
we're not funding it into the FSA because, that's only for the employee to make contribution into the
Okay.
FSA
Got it.
pre-tax if they chose to.
Okay,
We were funding it this year
Right.
in a HSA, and we
Right.
will not be doing that.
that's a kind of a stabilization point on.
Exactly.
You know, high deductible versus a PPO
We are funding a
plan.
little
We're funding the fees,
Administrative
the
fees.
administrative fees only for the FSA.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the fee you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
But we're saving, I mean, it was $470,000 with, the HSA that we were contributing.
Right, that you were
into.
contributing to, which was balanced off, yeah. Okay, I'm good, thank you.
So we're insurance experts, whatever you'd like to know.
Just, so this year, the budget includes $5,000 for property damage. What kind of, it's in system-wide, page 4. So, just like in terms of like what, how is, any events or anything that happened that kind of got you to that number? And the second part of the question is like, I see a lot of these e-bikes riding around. Do we expect there like to be a lot of damage to grounds because of those vehicles on, you know?
Better not be on the track.
If Mr. Couples.
They were on the grass behind the old tennis courts, and it was, there was, a lot of them. So I'm just wondering, is that anything that ties to that number, or are we just?
That number has been sort of a stable number for many years. It's not, luckily, it's not an account that we need to access much. You can see from the actuals for 24-25 that we didn't spend any of it. So it's really there as a, as a fail-safe in the event that there's a vandalism incident or something along those lines. I can't really speak to the e-bikes. I know when we were speaking about the track project earlier, the Board of Ed had a lengthy discussion about, what means could be put in place to help watch over the track and make sure that it was being used appropriately. And, obviously for the community, it's not, a raceway for bicycles.
And even having discussions with Officer Pete, Officer Bob, and Officer Liz, it's a town nightmare.
Right,
With these.
yeah, I'm sure.
And yes, we have caught students, and they have been told very nicely, that you can't do this again. But we do let them, because there's no law, we wish there a law would come out, but because it's a means of transportation, we can't take it away. However, we do go over, and we have had a couple of people try it out, and it didn't work out well for them, a couple of kids. And I think, you know,
Yep.
the other kids learned. But you can't do that.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Make this one real quick. The facilities operations tab. The second page in. The table, it starts with annual asbestos testing, which I'm all for. But the third one down, it says PM services there. For CMS, that's jumping about 20 grand. Is there a particular one-time in there, or did something change with the new school?
Yeah, those PM services, my understanding is that just the way that the new school is set up, there's a lot of individual, say for instance, heating, cooling units within offices that all require filter changes, you know, periodically. It's not just one large intake, outtake system. It's many smaller systems now that need to be maintained.
Okay, so that's gonna be a staple then, that
I believe
37.
so, yes. And I think, again, we'll get 1 year under our belt to kind of see
Yeah.
how it is.
But that's
then
where
we
you're
can- we
trending
can
to?
Make an adjustment.
That's where you're trending to this year? Gotcha. Okay. All right, I realized about midway through this thing that we never actually made a motion, so we have to do all this again.
You can change that.
So maybe at this point, if it's cool with everybody, I'll make the motions. We can actually like put the number on the floor, if that's cool. Could I have a motion on the amount of, everyone make sure I got this right, $42,482,767 for line item 47, Board of Education.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Waganowski, seconded by Mr. Kelly. Okay, do we have any other questions before we get into discussion? You want to take a break? Yeah, 10 minutes, 9:45? 9:45? Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, we'll do 10 minutes. Let's go.
Just trying to understand. Best the gavel as you got. You need
Something.
that bear thing, or the bear whistle, or a bear horn, or whatever. Or
I'm just gonna start taking stuff and chucking it at people. Let's go. All right. I think we have one other quick question that we want to ask, and then we'll get into discussion. Steve, do you want to take it, Matt? Who wants to take it? Steve?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Hey, so, in the capital outlay section of the book, give you a second to get there. Page 1, just a couple questions. The technology, the instructional, going from 376 to 315 to 49, 265 down. Is that, we're not really going 265 down, or is there something actually happened there that would make that, or is it covered on page 3 where there's a bunch of stuff in the equipment side?
Yeah, that's,
Is it sort of a wash? Is that,
I'm sorry, can you?
yeah,
restate
Chris,
your-
so Chris, so on page 1,
Yep.
on the bottom, technology, there's instructional. It goes
Yep.
from 376, 315, then down to 49. So
Yep.
it looks like it's down 265.
Yes.
But then on page 3, and I guess the heading is actually on page 2, instructional equipment, it looks like there's a number of capital, I don't know if that's the Chromebooks or what that is, that adds up to a bunch of new things or bigger numbers there. Is that just a swap of one number for the other or something, or?
Let me just see what you're getting at here.
I think you're talking about the things that are funded by the surplus.
I guess they would be, yeah, I guess, yeah.
There's approximately 85,000 under the capital projects, and then 250 under the technology things. And of course, there is still some money coming out of LEA for technology, so that might be the discrepancy that you're asking about.
Okay, all right. So in essence, basically, we're using the surplus to pay for some of these Chromebook capital things.
Right, as I said earlier, we were looking to purchase things that wouldn't really skew our future budgeting process.
Sure, okay. And to that point then, maybe just to play it out then, so whatever these are being purchased then, like, that wouldn't show up again next year? Or would it? Or are these sort of now, these are gonna be purchased, so we won't be looking at these for like 3 or 4 years again?
Are you talking about the technology
Yeah.
purchases? Those are annual purchases.
Oh, they
so,
are, okay.
yeah, The good news is we're phasing out those technology loans, so we only have two left. And so as we pay those off, then we're gonna be able to put more money towards our own direct purchases instead of paying for the loans.
Paying for the loans, okay, okay. Matt, did I get that right, or is there anything else you think?
Yeah, it was just saying that the surplus that we're using to fund isn't just like a one-off thing that we don't think will ever happen. I mean, this budget item, this technology budget for 2 years running has been north of 300 grand, so there's no reason to expect next year.
It'll be back next year, yep.
Okay. So, but the good point about the loans, that when those wind down, hopefully that.
Yeah, because we're able to put the money directly into purchasing technology equipment instead of putting it into
Yes.
loans. So our long, multi-year plan is that we may be able to drop this line down because we won't be paying for those loans.
Good. Yeah.
But not down to 49,000. Right, but not down to 49,000, no.
Okay. Discussion.
Well, I think, obviously a lot of great work, and it was great to have the opportunity to ask all the questions, certainly less about the number, and maybe I'm just trying my head around it. I'm just concerned about using the surplus here versus CNR, because I think we're kind of suppressing the budget request a little bit, but it's gonna just basically bounce back next year. Like, I feel like we're starting off the FY '27 discussion about 400,000 in the hole. That's how I feel about it. Which it is what it is. It's not gonna change, what we're gonna budget or not. I'm just concerned next year we're gonna get a little bit of a bounce back on this and be struggling, just a little bit here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, I guess from my standpoint. I've always been a big proponent in trying to do what we can to keep the operating side as low as possible, just from the MBR requirement and that kind of thing. And quite frankly, I'm appreciative of the fact that, the Board of Ed decided to take their surplus and, put forth and, try to find ways to utilize it to help offset, costs for the town. So, and it's on one-time items at least, so it can at least be identified, and it's not, baking something that's gonna be, reoccurring in the cake here. I guess if I'm going here, obviously, I appreciate the due diligence on the health plan. It's good to know you did the work, you got the quotes, you came through with something that was most cost-effective for the town. It sounds like something that hopefully your unions are satisfied with and happy with, so we'll take a double win wherever you can. And at the end of the day, like I said, you take the increase, the benefits out of it, it's 2%. You take the trend line, if you multiplied it, by last year's, you're at 2.7, I think you said, Dr. Macri, right? So, look, the presentation, I thought was very well done. I thought it spoke to some of the themes we talked about in the past. I know this has felt like a long process, but we started with the capital projects. My feeling, actually, this might be the least amount of in-depth questions we at least really had to kind of dive and get into. So I think that speaks to, the presentation, giving some really good info. But no, I mean, from my standpoint, I think there's definitely been an increase in the partnership and stuff there, and very much appreciated. So I guess I'll just start the discussion from there. So anyone else?
No, I agree, John. I thought it was a great job. I appreciate the insights and all the information. I mean, obviously, healthcare is an issue that's crossing many of us today, and so not much you can manage through that. But other than that, I thought it was affordable.
It's what?
It's affordable outside of the healthcare piece.
Look, one of my things I always say is you control what you can control. And, all I ask or we look for is did you do the due diligence and did you put forth the effort? And, seeing that they got at least 6 carriers out there, 5 responded or whatever, that's all you can ask, right? So. No other discussion? All right, we have a motion on the table. We'll go down the line here. Mr. Fidelli? Mr. Maley? Mr. Kelly? Mr. Baganowski?
Aye.
Mr. Blanchett?
Aye.
6 ayes. Nicely done. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you. You go in peace.
Thank you both. Whoa, where's everybody going? We got more. You got to stay for the whole show.
It's Holy Thursday. I'm going to get my
Yes,
feet
yeah.
washed.
Well, on top of that, Dr. Macri, I'll be sure to the date for this next year because I know you want to sit in.
Yes,
So,
I will. I'm not going to tell you the song I sang all the way here, but I'd love to help any way that I can with the new superintendent, and I'd like to thank you all for, even when it got heated, I really truly believe that you believe in our kids and our system and everything that we're doing, and it's been a wonderful 7 years, and it's bittersweet. But I wish you the best of luck, and I think Cromwell is an awesome place to live and go to school. So, thank you for everything.
Our next
Thank you.
superintendent have very big shoes to fill.
there you go.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for all
I'll
your
help
efforts.
any way that I can.
Thank you for all your efforts. We very much appreciate it. All right, enjoy the holiday.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so again, as long as everyone here is good, we're going to start with some of the town items. If everyone's good to hang around. Yeah? Okay. Let me find the agenda.
Town clerk, number 2.
Ready to go.
Okay, so again, we'll get into a rhythm here with the motions, but let me get to number 2. We're starting with the town clerk, right, Sharon? Okay, let me get to that page. Okay. Yes, we're gonna start. So right on the very first page of your town binder, you'll see the agenda up there. We're just gonna hopefully get through town clerk through conservation. All right. So, can I have a motion to appropriate $238,609 for line item 2, the town clerk?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Waganowski, seconded by the vice chair. Any questions? What's that? Oh, yeah, at this point, yeah, just go ahead and chime in. We're hopefully not gonna be, I'm gonna do a deep dive. Yeah. Yeah.
They're not fully staffed. The town clerk office is not fully staffed today, correct?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay. For some reason, sorry, for some reason I thought they were not.
Sorry, any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate $136,614 for line item 3, the elections department?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the vice chair, seconded by Mr. Waganowski. Questions, discussion?
So this, this is based on the assumption that we're going to do exactly what we did last year, this year,
As far
as early voting, which is the big difference, right?
The only hope we have is if they pass legislation
Right.
that reduces it.
There is pending legislation to make some reductions in the number of days.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. 'Cause-
If that occurs,
But this would, this is designed to do whatever it is, 14 days, whatever the number is now. Voting.
This is designed to exactly handle early voting and the gubernatorial primary.
Yeah. Well, you could end up with a
Two of them.
congressional in one party and gubernatorial in another. Yeah. Okay.
But if that's the case, we feel comfortable with this?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, Motion carries. Can I have a motion, we're jumping to 9. Can I have a motion to appropriate, where did 9 go? There it is. $184,467 for the tax collector.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Wagonowski, seconded by the vice chair.
Just give me a moment to
Yep, it's,
find it.
same tab at least. I'll modify it for Revenue Collection Department. Sorry.
Is that a charter change?
What's that?
I said, was that a charter change?
I'm just gonna go off of what's on the top there. I've got tax collector still in my spreadsheet.
No, I know, but I'm
But,
just saying,
yeah.
did the charter change the?
No.
Actually, the charter says tax collector, we have a tax collector, and
Within the department?
within the revenue department.
Gotcha.
I see. Okay.
Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate $286,192 to line item 10, the assessor's office?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr.
Can I-
Wagonowski, seconded by the vice chair.
I'm sorry, can I just ask a side question?
Yeah.
Before we go forward? Are we doing the reval this year?
Next year.
Next year, okay.
For there's a capital for 350 that for the next
I
fiscal year.
thought so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, sorry.
So, real quick, oh, wait, I must have confused something else. Okay, never mind, I had confused something else. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Can I have a motion, to appropriate $1,950 for line item 17, the town council?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Wagonowski, seconded by the vice chair. It's the first one under boards and commissions.
Okay. There we go.
Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate, man, here we go, $62,974 for line item 18, the Board of Finance?
Sure.
We gotta self-fund ourselves, guys, come on, let's go. Someone second it.
Sure.
Will someone make the motion?
So moved.
Someone second it.
Second.
Mr.
Nervous, you know, so nervous about this.
We can't screw this up. Motion made by Mr. Wagonowski, seconded by the vice chair. Yeah, obviously, yeah, this is where the audit comes in, and it's, the auditor's up, what, $4,000, right? For next year?
That 3-year contract that you did.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate $30,000 for line item 19, Community Events Committee?
So moved.
Moved by the vice chair,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wagonowski. Huh,
And just as an FYI, I did check, the donations can, be solicited by volunteers, not employees of the town.
Okay.
And for a specific reason, so
Right.
the events committee is good as long as all the volunteers are the ones soliciting and no employee of the town.
Right, okay.
Mr. Wagonowski, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chair, if I could, I'd like to enter an exhibit into the discussion.
I'll allow it.
Sure.
Like a judge.
Oh my God, you're a good man. That's over there. Two for these guys. Tony and Sharon.
Yeah, we love them.
Follow along in case,
No PowerPoint?
that's the label, tomorrow.
All right, so, So the short of it is, obviously, we've been working hard, especially over the last few months, to try to pull this festival together. It goes without saying, you know, this is a town event in celebration of the 175th birthday of the Cromwell in the state of Connecticut, 250th of the U.S., as well as actually bringing a community event back to the town. And what you're seeing here is basically a walk forward. The first number on the page that jumps out, you know, is the cost and all. I do have an exhibit that lists every single item, you know, and all our estimates or quotes for every single thing in the festival. Like anything, we are still working through some things. I put a contingency into the number, and that totals up. And then certainly somehow we're looking for a little bit of help from the town and Cromwell Fire District for a little bit of money and, you know, just being absorbed in their budgets, not all of it necessarily, but some of it. And then we're getting in-kind donations, you know, for different things, tables and other kinds of things. And then from there, we've collected a revenue, you know, to date, various things. You will see one thing in here, there's sponsorships of $25,650. Like Tony said, we've been out actively working and getting sponsorships, so thankfully that's good that we can do that, because we have been collecting money and working hard, you know, very much at that. And we continue to do a lot of sponsorship work, you know, as well. And then, you know, rolling into the festival, there's a few other things we're gonna try to do to raise some additional money, some additional sponsorships. And then we have some offsetting things. We're gonna have a 5K race. We're gonna, you know, charge people to, you know, participate in the race, so that should offset really the cost of the 5K race. And we'll continue to look for opportunities to do that as well. And you can see sort of all the funds that we think are gonna be available from all the money we're gonna, you know, pull together, 44,000. Hopefully we'll continue to exceed that. And then I tried to account for the recording secretary for the year. And the net of it is right now that if we approve the 30,000 roughly, we'd be right about in line with what we were thinking we need for money. That's at a 10% contingency, and quite frankly, still with a lot of variables that we're still trying to work through. So that was the quick run through. People digest, and certainly I'll take questions.
All right. Well, I'll start with this one. Obviously, I appreciate the detail. It's mentioned here in the book, just to make sure from a public perspective, that the allocation here is for fireworks. Do we know, is that a firm number? And
So
is the
we-
intention to potentially have that go elsewhere?
Yeah, so, yes, exactly. Some of that, we do have a quote from one fireworks vendor that actually, it's really much based on how much time you do it for. They could actually go down for
How
only.
long the show is?
Yeah, how long the show is, and some other kinds of things, and it kind of ranged from like 7,000 to like 20,000. We're also looking at a drone show, which we just got some quotes this week, so we're trying to absorb that and figure out what that is. But anything, even the drone show, it'll depend on how many drones you have, how long it is, so on and so forth. So we just don't have those details, so I don't think necessarily by saying what's in the book, I get that, that's how we started, just to have a very simple number into the book, you know, 25,000 for the fireworks, but definitely some of that money, we're not gonna spend 25,000 in fireworks, because we need that money for some other things. But we're thinking spending it right now in the budget, the detail, I've got 20,000 in there, so most of it would go toward, whether you call it the big show, fireworks, or whatever it would be at the end of the event.
Mr. Chair, this was approved exactly as it is. The town manager by charter can move the money to a different line.
You can, gotcha, okay.
Thank you.
And was the, I'm trying to go back and look, was the council presented 30 and they passed 30?
Yes.
Okay. And Steve, what you're indicating here potentially is with a contingency, we might be a little short.
Could be. I mean, it'll be tight, and again, we're gonna continue to, you know, sponsor and fundraise, but at the same time, we may have other variables come up, because again, we are really starting this from ground up. And, you know, we're not trying to do just like a simple, like, here's the carnival, and that's it. We are trying to, we're not going crazy.
Yeah.
We're trying to do things like with this kids zone, trying to get the stage, trying to get good music, you know, various other kinds of things together. So try to make it really something that people wanna come, without trying to go over the top, just trying to do it so it's a nice.
No,
something
no,
people wanna
listen,
come to.
it's one of those things, it's gonna be a showcase for the town. It's gonna be something that we wanna be, you know, have it looked at and go, okay, this is something, you know, people drive away from and go, you know, it was good to be here for it.
Yeah. And to your point, John, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like we know, like, we wanna make sure, like, we're not gonna go cheap on the bathrooms, right? So we have quotes in there from a couple of porta potty places, whatever else.
Yep.
I mean, you know, we're not gonna go, oh, let's go cheapen that down, let's only get a couple. Like, no, we're gonna try to have two big banks of them, and also that's not gonna be a problem. We're looking at parking, transportation, so again, we're not gonna be like, oh, everyone's gotta walk from everywhere in town, right? You know, we're looking at busing and looking at different costs for all that and trying to be smart where we can. We're talking to the town about using the senior buses for like maybe from the town hall, high school would be like regular bus, kind of thing. So we're trying to think of all these things as well, but again, since we're doing this from ground up, could there be something that's in front of me that I don't know about that's gonna be like, oh geez, I guess that was a miss, the contingency hopefully is there to absorb that. Question is, it's a little tight right now, we could work with 30K, if this board wanted to do a little bit more, that'd be great, if not, 30K, we'll just make work.
And, well, here's the other question I've got, and then we can kind of go from there. So it's scheduled to take place end of September. I mean, if we started with this and then something comes up and you come before us in August or whatever, and we gotta, revisit, I mean, like I said, I know you're trying to get aggressive, and I appreciate that. At the same time, too, as I mentioned before, if we're gonna do something, let's do it right. So I guess, from my standpoint, if we started here and then you see where things go, and then we gotta, come back, you certainly know where to go.
Sure. I know where the money is.
So, maybe that's just but listen, if you also feel like, 35 is something that's gonna make you, really think we're gonna get there with it and not have to worry about it, then we can certainly talk about that too. But if we wanna start here and then come back, I don't know what the rest of the group feels, but, I'm open to hear both sides of it.
I noticed the sign out, the red went up. How much do you have?
So in committed sponsorships, we've got 25,650, and I know that there's another 3,600 where people have said they're going to, we're just waiting for the checks, so I'm hoping to be at 30,000 shortly in the next week or two. And we do have a number of other ones that have been on the line, honestly. Sometimes it takes 5 and 6 visits to these folks to kind of get them to finally sign up, but I'm hoping to do a little bit better than that.
Mr. Chair, I would recommend exactly what you said. If he needs,
Yeah, to come back.
we can come back, we go to the council and come back.
Well, in my head, I'm originally thinking, July, right? Like but if it's September, we got some wiggle room to, July, August, so I guess, yeah, that probably, let's see where it takes us. I don't know what everyone else thinks. I don't want to monopolize this, but,
No, that sounds right.
And is this a one-year festival, or is it gonna be repeating?
That's a great question. So I think the intent is to try to do it annually. I think part of it's gonna be a little bit changed, like, we're gonna run it.
Yeah,
If we're successful and things look pretty good, then great. Maybe we gotta keep, kind of keep going after this and all. And then if we fail, I don't know, we have to revisit, like we fail for whatever reasons, and okay, we can learn from it and still go back and do it again. It's a good, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a good year, obviously, for it, because obviously the
Yeah.
anniversary.
Oh, and you guys might notice in the lower part of the page, like the carnival thing, again, that's a big question, right? If they get the number of people using their rides and doing whatever, we get a 20% revenue share of that. So like if it's not good, the weather's garbage, blah, 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 they do well, we're not gonna do well, so it's just gonna make it harder, to go ahead and fund a following one the next year, so. There's a lot of variable, I hate to keep using that word, but there is.
And, it says total expected from town and CFD department, for 5,000. But the 5,000 that's that is in our item here,
Is not the same.
not the same
No,
number?
not the same.
Okay.
So it's certainly, and I have a little influence in the fire district too, so, there, we're trying to work with them to, to be able to have it be like, okay, like, you're gonna support this thing, but like, you have a way to fit that in. The overtime budgets aren't enough, the other budgets aren't enough, and, we haven't talked specifically, with town manager yet, but I'm hoping we can, NPD, we'll work some stuff out, we've had some initial conversations, but obviously we need to go deeper. Part of it is we're trying to figure out the logistics of Pearson Park, because we've had some challenges there to find the right places. We can't do the things we used to do, because now we can't use the full police parking lot. So that's kind of thrown us off a little bit. Different things have been done with the field now, like the football field is something that we're not gonna have trash, so we're just trying to figure out where to put all this stuff. It's like a big Lego game, like where all it's gonna go eventually. And now we gotta make sure we can get access to the porta potties to clean them. There's all sorts of things we're trying to figure out how it's all gonna work together. And, part of this, we haven't even really fully asked, like, what do we actually need from police department or the fire district? We've talked about it. We just haven't gone fully into like, okay, we need this for this long a time. This is why we need it. And when we do that, I guess we'll figure out whether we can absorb it in the town, just in normal budgets, or whether it's something we'll have to pay for, so to speak. And maybe that's when we come back to town council at that point, if we're really in a hole of some kind.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm not quite clear on, this is a town activity, right?
I think the answer is yes to that, but I'm not sure what your next question is
Well,
gonna
I mean,
be,
the question is,
so-
who's in charge of, I mean, I know there's a committee, but, you know, are you running the show, or who's signing things?
Well,
Yeah,
well,
who's on the
okay, so we
insurance?
follow, so I'm the chair,
Yeah.
right? So we do follow the town procurement process. Like, I'm not signing anything. Like,
Well, that's my
all gonna
question.
flow through, you know, the town is gonna be doing all, yeah.
Right, so,
Which is exactly how we won't run previous ones.
I have no idea. I think I was at the last 3 meetings of the last, thing, and there was like 6 of us,
Yeah,
and,
that's why next year, that ought to be interesting. After they get a year under their belt, we'll see.
well, the chair in those days was former Mayor Spots.
Yeah.
It was before he was mayor, actually. And he said, yeah, you need at least 40 volunteers to run this. And so, do we have 40 volunteers? Yeah.
I'm probably 300 to 400 hours in on this year alone.
Oh, I know
my own
you're
time.
doing a lot of work.
And I have some other folks who really are digging in as
Yeah.
well, but we don't have I keep looking for the depth, we're not there yet, so
Okay.
it's falling on a few
We're
people.
looking, we're looking
Matt's on
for
it.
someone to chair our volunteer subcommittee.
Yeah.
So,
The last
We need
year
a
at
volunteer to
Riverport
find
Festival, there was, actually 2.
Yeah, I get it. But I just, again, I'm just trying to see this in my head. So we're insuring it, we're in charge of it,
Yeah.
we're, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're fine with this budget and,
Yeah, right now.
and,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Based on his fundraising so far, I am.
yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing, you know, $10,000 for additional insurance or anything on the, you know.
Covered under the town's insurance.
It is, even though we're doing fireworks, they're fine with that.
If we have to, we'll get additional rider, but
Yeah.
we've done that
I
before.
just, okay, so,
Previous festivals, we've covered that.
so this is, for I mean, this is the same as, I don't know, any
Memorial Day
of the
parade.
kids' activities that the recreation department does or anything. It's the same
Yeah.
theory
A
as all
good-
that.
A good, well, no, that isn't. What- Yeah, the Memorial Day parade,
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah,
The town upfronts the money to the Legion acts as the liaison, and they report everything and follow finance.
okay.
are there any minimum guarantees, like the carnival? So are they guaranteed any level of revenue, or they take the full risk?
They take the full risk.
They take the full
Yeah,
risk?
I mean, obviously, they want us, they're trying to work with us, they're like, oh, you know, make sure you got good food trucks, make sure you got other
Right.
activities, good music, blah, 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 draw people, make sure the parking can work for people, make sure they get transport, but there's nothing,
But all the vendors that are coming in, there's no kind of minimum floor
no.
guarantees to them as
No.
far as,
no, like, yeah, the food truck rents a spot and they get no one to buy their food, like,
right?
I was gonna say, you know what used to be part of that, part that I hated, by the way, was that various local organizations used to run the food. I assume that is no longer the case?
we are strongly discouraging that in the nicest way, that's all I can say.
Well,
We want
I
professional
will
food
tell you
service
that
is
the
what we want.
Democratic Town Committee spent 10,000 hours to make $800, you know, I mean, it was an awful lot of work for very little return.
If someone wants to, but you know,
I
we have,
understand.
they have to know they're competing against professional food trucks, and they've got to meet all the 2026 health
Yeah, safety.
things, safety and all, so it's
Yeah.
different than it used to
Oh, I
be
know.
when,
Yeah. So we're anticipating the food and drink is all gonna be professionally provided, okay. Vaya con Dios, man.
And with that, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. All right, can I have a motion to appropriate $1 to line item 20, the Charter Revision Committee?
so moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Waganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. I'm assuming this is a placeholder and
That's correct.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate $600 for line item 21, Board of Assessment Appeals?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion?
I'm sorry, we're Board of Assessment Appeals? Or- Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
21.
yep, gotcha.
I'm sorry, this may be totally out of place, so I guess we're doing a reval, like, do we normally spend money in years when we do revals, because there's
The following
more
year.
demand?
Following year.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna,
the
it's gonna be the
following year.
next year,
Okay.
yeah. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate,
So 22 is gonna be going away.
oh, it is gonna be going away, okay. Okay. Can I have a motion to appropriate,
Do they know that?
what's that?
Do they know that?
Yes.
They do know, okay, all right.
$1,250 for line item 24, zoning board of appeals.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion.
Did we skip 23?
23 is gonna be on the agenda for,
Okay, that's,
Tuesday.
just wanna make sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Can I have a motion to appropriate $1,900 for line item 25, inland wetlands?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion.
How much?
1,900? Did I get that right?
He says 1,400.
1,400.
Oh, shoot, did I?
You're on 25.
25, 1,900?
Yeah, it should be
1,900, yep.
Oh, 25, okay. Oops, I skipped one. I skipped one, sorry.
1025, I still
Yeah, we
got it.
skipped
I'm still sharp.
23.
I'm good. 23 is gonna be Tuesday.
Intentionally, apparently.
Yes,
Yes.
23 is on Tuesday. Okay, 1,900 for inland wetlands. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signal by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. And then can I have a motion to appropriate $1,400, line item 26, the Conservation Commission?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion?
Can I just ask, is Mr. DeProto still the chair? As a member of the council?
I believe so.
Can a member of the council be on one of the boards?
Is still the chair of the-
I don't think so.
Is it? I don't know. I think it was.
Isn't it on the, is the list on the, and he is, if he's on there, that's an up-to-date list.
Yeah, I got that from the town clerk's office.
And now that you, now that you mention it, I don't remember, seeing a resignation from him on the council. I'll look that up on Monday. Yep.
Would there be any reason to suspend this till Tuesday? Okay, I'm just making sure. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, motion carries. All right, guys, we got through it. We have a 4:10:30. That's not bad. That's not bad. Thank you, guys. Oh, you, Sharon, you're good. Thank you, guys. I know it has. I know. Thank you both for being here. Sarah, thank you. Very much appreciate it. I know there's no place you'd rather be. I will see everybody on Tuesday. It's very possible that I don't sleep the night before, depending upon who's playing Monday night. So if I'm really tired, you know why.
It's in the Belden room?
Yes, we're downstairs. We are downstairs. It is 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, Belden Room. We'll get it done. Motion to adjourn? Cool, 10:26.